Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the stream. We haven't been here for a couple days, but I hope you guys have been having a great week. I hope you guys have been reading the Word of God and incorporating that in your lives and obeying Him as I am trying to do. But I think we're gonna get back into reading the Bible. I know last time we've kind of been jumping around. The last time we were reading Psalms. Now we are currently in the book of Luke. We are reading about the life of Jesus. Um, oh, I say reading, but I already know the life of Jesus as far as my understanding goes, which is limited. But I think we're gonna start at Luke chapter 6, verses 21. If you guys have your Bible, please open it and follow along. And let's learn together. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek offer also the other, and him that taketh away thy cloak forbid not to take thy coat away, thy coat also. Sorry. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also unto them likewise. For if you love them which love you, what thank ye? What thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And if you do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend to them out of whom ye hope to receive, what thanks have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. I think my understanding of what Jesus is saying is pretty much God's new kingdom is not meant for the poor. It's not meant for those who already deem that they have everything they could ever want. Because when you feel like you have everything, that means that you don't feel like you need God. And God wants to remind us all that despite what we think, we do need Him. And He's also saying, and it kind of makes sense because He's pretty much saying, if you have everything now, there's nothing more I can give you in the next life. So it's pretty much like you have everything now in this life when the goal is to get everything that you have now but have it in the next life so you can have it for eternity, because everything that we have now here is just temporary. Absolutely everything that we do in an effort to make our lives more enjoyable by our own standards, this is all just temporary. And the longer we spend focusing on um the wrong things, like not putting God first, the more we damn ourselves, pretty much. And I think what he's saying through verse 30 through 35, he's pretty much saying, he's reiterating, I feel, the Ten Commandments, but more specifically, he's pretty much saying, like, if you are only doing things out of the intention that you think whoever you're helping will be able to help you out later on, will be able to get you back, then your intentions are wrong. Even though the act itself is of good nature, your intentions for wanting to do it are wrong. Like he's saying, we need to just love and support each other without the expectations of receiving something, because he did the same thing for us. No, he didn't have to come down. He didn't have to leave a place of peace and love and mercy for eternity that never ends. He didn't have to leave that to come to such a broken, desolated earth to save humanity, but he chose to. Even though we didn't ask him to do it, he did it out of love. And it's because of that that we were saved, that we have a chance at salvation. And he's pretty much saying like, yeah, trust me, I know you're going to feel like doing things for other people and not getting out anything out of it benefits everyone else more than it's going to benefit you, but I'm telling you now that that is not the case. And he's saying like if we choose to love certain people just because we know that they love us back, but we can't love a stranger because we don't know if they love us back, we don't know what kind of person they are. If we pick and choose who we choose to love, that is also wrong. We're not supposed to pick and choose who we love. We're supposed to love everyone. Because at the end of the day, something we can all agree on, humanity as a whole is suffering. We all suffer. And our suffering will make us do things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. And it's those actions that we will judge each other on. And personally, I think God says don't judge. He says, if you don't judge, you won't be judged. If you judge, you will be judged. And I feel like personally, I've always judged people on their actions. I've never judged someone based on who they were. Even even in school, learning history, the Holocaust and all these atrocious events that took so many innocent lives, like I condone the action but not the person. I don't I don't necessarily believe, and this is just like my thoughts, but I don't necessarily believe Hitler was a bad person. I think that his idea of unification was in good intention, but his execution of that was where he went wrong. And I feel like history itself, in terms of these events that we know of being catastrophic or detrimental to the progress of humanity, I think if certain things would have happened within that individual's life, then maybe the outcome of such events would be drastically different. Like what if Hitler had found God? Like before he became any kind of leader, when he was still just a young man. Like what if he had found God, like truly found God then? I think it would be safe to say that the Holocaust never would have happened, you know? And so it's like, yes, bad people, that's the thing for me. Like I have a hard time deciphering a bad person from a bad action. Good people can do bad things the same way the people that we deem bad can do good things. And so I feel like it's more imperative that if we are to judge, we judge on the action and not the person. And we have twisted that. We have made it so that we judge the person, and then it's actually their actions that solidify that assumption, that version, that perspective that we have in our own minds of another. But in reality, God is saying it's not the actions. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you say, good or bad. it's the whole principle of you're just supposed to do it. Like, you're not supposed to question, why do I have to love this guy who believes in a different religion and thinks that my life is less important than his because I don't believe the same thing that he does, and so he feels like my life is so insignificant that it doesn't matter if I lose it. Like, why should I care about a man like that? And God is saying, you're missing the point. You're not supposed to be thinking about this stuff, and it doesn't matter. Why should it matter? Why should what their life is matter to you? Like, honestly, we are all humans. We all suffer. We're all different because we all have our own thoughts and our own feelings. Even if we do go through the same situation, we can experience the same exact situation and yet still come out on the other side with multiple different perspectives. And I think it's all boiled down to um personal reflection and choice. And I think that's pretty much where humanity has gone wrong. Instead of doing what we know we should do, we are making the choice to do what we think should be done. But that's the problem. Thinking without knowing leads to error. It leads to being wrong. And then, I mean, it's okay to be wrong if you're willing to learn from it. I would rather spend my life being a happy fool, believing in God and that there is something after this, than spend the rest of my life as a miserable scholar trying to convince anyone else that, nope, this is all that's left. How is that, honestly, though? How is this life being the only thing there is? Doesn't that kind of make everything pointless? Absolutely everything we do pointless? Like, I guess I can understand why people think, oh well, because it's the only life we have. There's nothing else. We gotta cram and do absolutely everything now while we can. But we don't have to. We really don't. And it's definitely that thinking that has further progressed the devolvement of our spiritual journeys with God. And I sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent. But pretty much, God wants us to love everyone, no questions asked. It's not really our job to understand why we have to love someone or understand like their whole life story or backstory. And personally, I feel like I don't need it. I don't need to know everything that you went through in life that pretty much defined who you are in the present. Like, the only thing that I need to know, and I already do know naturally, is that you are another human, that your life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and I can understand the pain. Even if I can't relate to the pain, I can still understand it. And it's through that understanding of your pain that makes it easier for me to not be so judgmental. It makes it easier for me to love you. And I feel like personally, I think for me that's where the line is. You know that it's like a one side to a double-edged sword. Um I personally feel like if I know your story, that's only going to cloud my my thinking and ultimately lead to me judging you. So it's like I don't if I don't have to know your story, then I don't really care to hear it because ultimately I don't want it to have an effect on how I treat you. And I know that for me personally, that's usually when it becomes complicated. Like, I'm not saying it's like an automatic switch. Like, I can only care if I don't know. I'm saying it makes it harder for me to throw out all of the unnecessary facts and only focus on the important ones, which is you're another human being. You're in pain. I'm a human being. I'm in pain. We can understand each other on that level. And really, that's all we need to understand each other. We don't need to, honestly, um, we don't need to agree on everything. We don't need to see eye to eye on everything. It's just we need to be able to agree on the main things, on the important things. And the important things are that none of us have it figured out. No matter how clear of a message we think, none of us have this life figured out. And we will only destroy ourselves more the more that we try to put control where control doesn't exist. We cannot control other people's lives. We can give advice, we can give suggestions, which I think ultimately that's what all this is when it comes to people trying to convince other people to believe in a certain religion or do this or do that. It's not that they're trying to it is control, but it's more so all we're really doing is just giving each other suggestions and advice based off of what we personally think would make life as a whole better. Even if we are directing it in a specific way, like towards a specific individual's life, ultimately the whole message is that I think that this will make life better, not just for you, but for everyone else. And sadly, we just don't have that control. We really can't say whether or not life will get better or get worse until it does. Um, but yeah, like pretty much like I was saying, everything comes down to intentions. The act itself could be deemed good or bad, but the intentions behind it are what matters. If we only do things to check off a list, if we only do things to meet expectations or standards, then we're not really doing what we're supposed to be doing. And I think that's where I've been struggling in my life with being I don't want to say I'm a people pleaser because that has negative connotations to it, but I am a people person in the sense where I feel like because of my understanding of life, it's easier for me to connect with people on more of a mental, spiritual level than a actual physical level. And it's like, how do I know? I know I'm not supposed to think about it or really care, but how do I know that the people I'm helping are not just asking me because they know that I will say yes? You know, like how do I know people are not doing it simply to take advantage of my reliability? That's kind of where my struggle comes in when it comes to doing what I believe is right versus what is actually right. Because I'm trying to do what is actually right by doing what I think is right, even though obviously I don't know. I can only think. And so it's like, I do love everyone. I have no hate. I truly have no hate for anyone in this world, past, present, future. Like, everything that happened truly happened for a reason. And if I try to sit here and understand it, I'm gonna confuse myself even more. And I don't want to do that. So it's like it's easier to not worry about the things that I don't know and just focus on what I do know. And what I do know is that this world will only get better once we all can unifiably, right? Is that a word? Unifiably? Unify. We can all come to an agreement pretty much as one that this world is lacking the most fundamental key to survival, which is love. And we all need to learn to love each other despite our differences. Not just preach about it, but actually be about it. Because, I mean, realistically, if you think about it, we've already been doing that since the beginning of humanity. We've already been making collective agreements on certain things, on subjects and different aspects of life. We've all made um agreements that have resulted in, we'll say, I'll call them tools for better, for lack of better wording, but we've all made unified agreements on certain things which produced tools that helped us advance uh, civilization, humanity. And we all are human. We all have emotions for the most part, even though there, of course, there are some things that might, you know, throw a wrench in the gears. I'm thinking along the lines of like psychopathy, you know, sociopath. Like, yeah, instances like that, yeah, they may throw a wrench in the gears and throw off the balance of emotions, but for the most part, humans all share the same emotions. Like, there's not a single person on this earth who has experienced an emotion that the rest of us have not. If Unless they're one of the, I want to say cursed, but at the same time blessed to like have a NDE experience, be able to get some answers from God, from Jesus, and then come back. Like, the feelings that they felt over there, of course, are going to be different than the feelings that we feel here, but in terms of earthly standards, all humans feel the same exact emotion. There's no one person who's felt an emotion that someone else has not felt before. So it's like we all can agree that we all have emotions, that we all need to do this and do that. So how about instead of us agreeing on it, we just do it? You're right. Instead of just talking about doing something, we just do it. Like, it's really that simple. We just do it. Don't talk, just do. Hello, Nova. Good morning, man. How you doing? All right, well, let's continue though. Kind of went off on a tangent. Okay, what it says, 35. It says, "But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest. For he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. But ye therefore are merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye might withal, it shall be measured to you again." We're reading Luke chapter 6, verses 21 through 38. That's what we're starting out with. Starting off on, I should say. We just finished verse 38. And it's weird because a lot of what we find in the Bible, the teachings and stuff like that, we still believe it and we still accept it. We've just changed um terminology. Like, pretty much what he's explaining here from verses 20 to 38, you could almost say that it's karma, right? Like, what you put out into the world, you will receive, both in this life and the next. Or whatever you put out in this life, you will receive in the next. So if you put out negativity in this life, in the next life, you will receive negativity. But if you are able to endure all the negativity in this life and still be a positive force, then that positivity is going to carry over into the next life. And I think that's that's something that we've tried to drill into our skulls, but because, saying it outright like the Bible does doesn't seem to register it. We feel like we had to change up the terminology a little bit. So now I would say this is all karma. What is being described in Luke chapter 6, 20 through verses 20 through 38 is karma. Before we decided that we were going to turn it and start calling it karma. And personally, the moments where I feel like I was able to obey God's laws, his expectations with loving your neighbor and stuff, I feel like the moments and the times in my life that I actually truly was able to do that without thinking about it, now that I think back to it, those were actually times where I ended up receiving good fortune at some point later down the road, and it didn't click in my head that maybe that's for a reason, because you know, we all have that innate voice that tells us we're not good enough, that we don't have what it takes to be deserving of something. And yet, God is pretty much saying, like, despite all of that, if you do what I say, you will only prosper. And it's because of it's those little moments that I keep reminding myself, like, those are the moments that I need to strive for most of all. And it's not because of the expectation of trying to get into heaven. I can only hope to get into heaven. It doesn't matter. But it makes me feel good. Ultimately, I personally only do good things for other people because it makes me feel good. Not because I really care about getting anything in return in this life or in the next. I do it because it just makes me feel good. I don't feel good unless I know that I've helped someone else, even if it's not in a way that will immediately help them out or benefit them. For me, just knowing that I stepped up and did something, even if it's not what needed to be done, or even if it ultimately has no effect, the fact that I stepped up and at least tried something, that's what makes me feel good. That's what kind of drives me. And it kind of keeps me, I feel, not closer to God, because I'm struggling. I've been struggling to feel closer to God, but it keeps me on the path to, it keeps me in the right mindset to stay on the path to God. He doesn't want you to do stuff just so he can reward you back. He wants you to do the things so you know those are the right things, and that's the path that would lead you closer to him. Right. And that's where I struggle, because I want to do good things, but I also know that I can do good things, people will take advantage of it, and ultimately, is it really me doing good things if it changes nothing? Like, is it really a good thing if nothing changes? I mean, that's kind of the thing I struggle with. It's not so much doing the good thing, it's me getting stuck on the result of the good thing. And I mean that, like I said, it's more so I can do these good things for people. And yeah, I may not know what the ultimate long-term effect is, but I do still feel like I will be wrong in doing good things for people if the person I'm doing it for, I don't want to say is not a good person, because I'm not supposed to judge, but I don't know. Like, because there's been times where people have talked about asking God to show them, like, maybe the truth about someone else, and God has shown them, and God was like, "Hey, this person, like, I know you feel a certain type of way towards this person, like you care about them and all that, but they're not a good person. Don't do it." And so, like, I don't know. I just want that kind of clarity. Like, I would love to be able to just know automatically, look at someone and be like, yeah, I know that if I help them, or if I love them the way I'm supposed to, they're going to be part of the solution and not the problem. I don't know how to like articulate it properly. God is within and not outside of you. God is always with you. Yeah, he is. And I'm glad. It's a good thing for him because you always see the good side of you. You always know what you're striving for and what the reason that everything happened. Yeah, I know, but that's where it falls into good intentions don't necessarily make you a righteous person. And it's like I don't want to struggle with that awareness of whether I'm doing right versus wrong in my intentions. I don't want to have to think about that kind of stuff. And I think that's the issue with becoming self-aware is when you become self-aware, especially very early on in life, you literally will question everything. And I'm not even questioning like life itself. I'm questioning myself. Like, are these thoughts that I have really mine? Are these emotions that I'm feeling really mine? Or are they just some outside force coming through me as a vessel into the world, you know? And it's like I don't know if I'm doing things for myself or if I'm doing them for whatever reason, you know? And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but every one that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. The bad thing about me, the truth is that you don't have self-forgiveness. For example, you can pray to God. Next thing you still do the same thing every day, and that's breaks you. I know. Self-forgiveness. I feel like self-forgiveness is probably the hardest. God says that you need to forgive everyone, but I don't think he iterates how hard it is to forgive yourself. For me personally, it's much easier for me to forgive everyone else, but it's harder for me to forgive myself because I don't have that clarity that even if I was wrong in like whatever it is that I'm seeking forgiveness for, I don't know if I'm seeking it for myself or if I'm seeking it because me being me is affecting the overall world, good or bad. And so I feel like self-forgiveness for everybody is going to be a lot harder to do because, you know, we don't feel worth it. And essentially, God is telling us like we're not worth it. I mean, he's not saying we're not worth it, we're not valuable, but he's saying we're not worth the amount of hate and self-loathing that we put on ourselves. We're not worthy of that. And therefore, we need to be able to forgive ourselves just as easily as we can forgive others because being unable to forgive ourselves is pretty much saying that you can't forgive, period. Because how can you forgive someone else but you can't forgive yourself? The same way, how can you forgive yourself but you can't forgive someone else? Like, forgiveness is for everyone, including the individual. All right. Give me a second. If Discord wants to work. I don't know if it does. But right here, verse 39, can the blind lead the blind? Shall they both not fall into a ditch? That right now is what's going on with this world, I think, in terms of the church, in terms of religion, in terms of people trying to spread God's word. I feel like we're in a period right now where the blind is trying to lead the blind. Because I've been watching a lot of videos. A lot of them are reaction videos, but there's one where pretty much they're priests and pastors who are getting criticized because of their preachings. Because what they're preaching is not how they're living. And if you can't understand for yourself the word of God, how can you possibly try to teach it to someone else without messing up the message, And I think right now that's what we're all in. We're all in a situation where the blind is leading the blind. That's why I was a little iffy on like doing live streams on this channel, because I feel like I'm not at a point really of understanding the word to be able to share it in the same way that prophets share, ministers, or these people that get super fired up about the word, but yet what they preach doesn't necessarily reflect within their own lives. I don't want to be a part of that problem. But that is pretty much like that's pretty much where we're at right now. Especially with this whole thing now, with the whole rapture debacle, everybody making predictions and then other people getting upset that those predictions aren't true, and then there's the whole mocking from one side to the other. If you ask me, it's all the blind leading the blind. None of us know what we're doing. None of us know the right answers. Even if we know the right answers for ourselves, for our personal lives, that doesn't necessarily equate to the lives of everyone around us. We're gonna get Nova in the call, guys. Let's see if we can get his thoughts.
You can hear me?
Also, guys, if you guys happen to use Discord and stuff on here, and you guys would like to, put your guys' opinions and stuff. If you guys don't feel like necessarily typing in the chat, I will be creating a Discord channel specifically for this. So if you guys use Discord and you guys want to be able to join in these conversations and stuff, give your opinion, your thoughts, I will be putting the Discord in the bio for the channel within the next probably day or so.
Yo, can you hear
So
me?
just keep a lookout for that. But feel free to join.
Yeah.
What up? Good
Yo, can you hear
morning.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Wait a second.
Yo, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hey,
Yo,
up.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me
What's
now?
good?
Morning.
Morning. Yeah, bro. It's like, I don't know. It's difficult to. I know what you mean. It's like difficult to explain. Like you don't like. It's easy to like explain in your head, but it's
Yeah,
difficult
but
to.
the second you actually try to speak those thoughts out loud, it's
Yeah,
like you start thinking of 5, 6 other sentences that you weren't thinking of in your head.
yeah. To
Yeah, it
make it
gets
make sense,
confusing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like the thing is, it's because it's difficult because here's the thing. Like I know there's a God out there, and I know. Here's the thing. I do the things I do still, and like I do bad things, even though I try to do better things and stuff, and I try to like like have forgiveness and stuff like that, but it's just like I don't know. It got to a point that it got to a point that in my life that so many things happened to me, like drama and stuff like that, that like feel empty. Like it doesn't. I don't feel like with any emotions anymore.
Right. You know what I've been
Like
thinking about lately, though, in that kind of in the regards of feeling empty? I think that emptiness that people feel, and then when they try to sit there and, fill it with all kinds of earthly distractions and it doesn't work, and they're saying, they're questioning, like, I've done everything and yet I still feel empty. Why?
yeah,
I feel like that is a natural that comes with us once we come into this world, but it's that natural disconnect to
and here's the
God
thing.
and the spiritual thing. And the only time we're ever gonna satisfy that emptiness is if we actively work on, becoming more spiritually enlightened.
And yeah, here's the thing. I don't know why, but like this happened to you. Or this is happening to you. But like, bro, it just got to the point that like the stuff that I used to do, like enjoying, like I used to enjoy, like play games or stuff, or like talk to people. It's like that doesn't even satisfy me anymore. Like it just that I can't like I get bored of doing that. Like I can only do that for like 5 seconds, 5 minutes maybe, and I get bored of. I like how I used to watch videos of people playing games and stuff.
Yeah,
I can't even do that because it's like so boring. Like it's like boring now. Like nothing is satisfying me, and I'm trying to find stuff that can satisfy me, and like nothing's satisfying me anymore.
yeah. That's
So
that's
it's like,
that's been part of the reason I've been dealing with the same thing. Why I'm not streaming and stuff as much as I was. I'm slowly losing
yeah, and like
motivation. I'm not gonna
that's what I'm
lie.
saying.
Yesterday, this is how I know. I think this is how I know God is here with me because after I got off the stream yesterday, I kind of rage quit. I mean,
Yeah, I saw that.
there was still some things going on with the audio that I gotta fix, but ultimately I ended up rage quitting, and right afterwards, I just had the thought. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, I'm genuinely debating on just deleting my entire channel
Wait,
and
did you actually
going
feel the
off of
same way? I
social
actually feel
media.
the same way, bro. No
And
way.
then
Wait, actually?
I was like,
Yo, I felt the same way,
if this is
bro.
supposed to happen, if I'm supposed to get away from social media, then I need some kind of
Bro,
sign that this isn't
I felt
what
the
I'm
same
supposed to be
way.
doing. I get on and
Oh my god.
I
Wait, let
check
me
my
wait.
analytics for the
Yeah.
channel and I gained a subscriber. And it was like
Bro, here's
that
the thing.
right there kind of
I
was my
felt the same
answer.
way. You know why, bro? Because like, bro, me and you felt the same way. I was like, bro, I'm done with like playing games anymore. Like I'm done like streaming because I don't get any views and anything. And like I'm just honestly done with like I try my best to like be a better person. I try to do everything. And I just talked to myself and I just said the same thing. I said, bro, honestly, like I'm not gonna play any games anymore. I'm not even gonna talk to like talk to anybody while playing game. I'm not even gonna try to play games. I'm not even gonna stream anymore. Like for what? Just to like the same thing to like not so nobody watch me or the same thing happening again. I literally felt this thing, bro. Bro, and that's I'm still thinking about that. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it if I might quit or not. It's like nothing has yet happened. And I'm still thinking about that because, bro, like I try my best to like be good at something, and there's always something happening. There's always something that happens and ruins. And it's like,
Right?
bro, it got to the point that it's like, bro, like I'm just like bored. Like, it's not even bored, it's just like there's nothing else.
I'm seeing this as just another iteration of my of being tested of my patience and my faith. Like, I don't know if I feel like if I can definitely for sure, even with these feelings, stick it out with this whole streaming thing. If I can do that, no matter what the outcome of it is, I feel like then that means I can put in the
Yeah, and
work that I need to do to obey God.
like, and I'm not trying to like. It's nothing against you. Like, don't think I'm gonna say something right now, but it's nothing against you. It's just like that's
I'm
how
gonna
like
tell you the same thing I tell everyone. You cannot offend me because there's not much that I care about in terms of being offensive.
no, like, look, it's nothing against you. It's like, you know how you left the game. I actually like, got so pissed because like you didn't even say like, I'm not gonna play anymore or anything. You just left, and I was like, bro, like, what happened? I was so confused, and I was like, bro, what happened? Like, bro didn't even say anything or anything like
I ain't
that.
gonna
So I
lie,
was
I
like,
did feel
bro,
bad. I was like, I didn't even say bye to him or anything. Like, it feels weird.
yeah,
We've been friends for so long. We've been streaming and playing games
yeah,
together for over 5 years now. Like, and
yeah.
yeah,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
ain't gonna lie.
I was like,
That was like my very first thought after I left. I was like, crap, I didn't say goodbye. I feel weird. What
yeah.
if he thinks like I'm mad at him or something, and it's not. I'm just upset with the whole game.
Yeah, because for a second
So
I
I
thought
do
that you were
apologize for that. I
because
don't take offense to that or anything like that. I understand.
yeah,
That's
for a
usually
second I
not
thought
me, so I am sorry that it
yeah,
made you feel like that.
no, you're good. For a second I thought you were mad at me because like I was not doing good in the game. I was like we were losing and dying. So for a second I thought that, and I was like maybe he just needed a break. Like I also need a break. I was gonna get to like my reaching point. I was gonna break something at that point. So I was like, it's fine though. It's fine. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not big.
I was squeezing my controller. I was trying so hard not to freaking
Yeah.
snap it.
Yeah, I was getting to the point that third party and stuff like that, like, no, bro, I was my patience. Like I don't
Right.
have patience. But yeah, I understood. Like it's not like I understood why you left, and it's not like I like it's better that you left. So like before you broke anything else or before you did anything that it will cost you.
Yeah, I didn't want to break or say anything that didn't mean.
Yeah, like for example, like smash something or yeah, something like that. So I understood why. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, that's what. It was nothing that big really.
There's something I wonder if you guys are watching, I wonder if anyone can, I don't know, bring a little clarity. One of my little sisters, her best friend recently passed away in August, and they were really close. And a couple days ago, it was like 11 in the afternoon. I decided to lay down for a nap, and before that, I was kind of doing what I've been doing lately, and just having a conversation with God. Asking questions, trying to hear His voice and stuff, and I asked him, I was like, I'm one of those people. I may be smart, but I'm very dumb and I'm very slow, and things don't register and stick with me unless I like see a almost like a physical version type of thing. I'm a hands-on kind of learner, and I was like, I don't necessarily need one of those NDE experiences where I have to die and maybe go see hell and heaven in order, to feel more not content or at peace, but feel more, or I should say, not so stressed out about it, I
You
guess.
can like leave the
Yeah,
there's something there, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
And I was pretty much like, I don't know, just give me some kind of sign that, it's not too late for me, that I'm not doing all of this in a vain effort because you've already left. And I had a dream. I took my nap, and I had a dream, and I think I was in my living room, not entirely sure, but I was in a living room, and my
Yeah,
sister was there, and her best friend's um girlfriend was there, baby mama, and their
yeah,
child was there. And my sister's best friend was also there. And mind you, he had passed away in August. So this dream that I'm having was 4 or 5 days ago. And
yeah.
in the dream, I see him and it doesn't register, but it's like I know that it's him, but I don't know it's him. And I ask my
Yeah.
sister, I'm like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "Well, it's him, duh." And he stands up, and I don't know if this is because like I've been lately watching NDEs and like the descriptions of Jesus and like or the description of other people in heaven and things like that. So I don't know if this plays a part into it, but my sister's best friend was healthy. Not only was he healthy, but he looked older than what he was when, you know, he passed on. He was only 25, but in this dream, he looked like he was in his early 30s,
Uh,
and it looked like him, but it didn't look like him. It's hard to explain. Like I don't know who his parents are, so I don't know like what they look like and stuff. But he
you know
looked
who
like
he
a
looked like?
more my sister's best friend looked more jacked, but not like overly jacked.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Sometimes like that happens. Like you can't fully develop recognize like the full body of a person because it's a dream.
yeah, but like he was a skinny guy when he was alive. But when I saw him, he looked like he was in his mid 30s. You know, he had a little bit of scruff. He had piercing blue eyes, which I don't think he has blue eyes. I think he has brown eyes, but in the dream he had piercing blue eyes. Um, and he was wearing like a gray baseball cap backwards. He had a dark navy blue shirt on, and that's kind of how I saw his muscles. Like I couldn't see his upper half, but I saw
Yeah.
his lower half, or I couldn't see his lower half, but I saw his upper half. And he wasn't jacked like a bodybuilder, but he was definitely fit, and like his muscles were popping. And he stood up, and I don't know, but when he stood up and he looked at me, I broke down, and he just walked up and hugged me, and I was telling him like how sorry I was that what happened about him dying, and like that I knew that we weren't close when he was here, but I still felt guilty for what happened to him and all that. And the only thing he said was it's okay. And then I woke up, and I don't know if this was God speaking to me. I don't know if this was an interaction with Jesus because, like I said, before I had this dream, I had been spending some time watching NDEs and specifically the ones where they go to heaven and meet Jesus. And most of the testimonies, when they're talking about Jesus, they're talking about, I mean, not necessarily what he looks like, but that they just know that like he's early 30s and he's like he's got the testaments would go back and forth. He would have piercing blue eyes, or he would have eyes that were bright like fire. Which I mean, I guess for him,
I mean,
they're one and the same,
they also said he had brown eyes as well.
right? But I don't know if it's because of those, and then like subconsciously my brain just saved that,
Yeah.
and then incorporated that into the dream. But I don't feel it like that is something I could have came up with on my own, even
Yeah.
with
You can't control
the
your
way that
brain.
the human brain works, storing subconscious information just to relay it back to you in a certain way. I don't think I could have come up with that on my own, and I honestly feel like maybe that was God answering me in a way, like saying I'm still here by showing me that my sister's best friend was in a better place, that I didn't have to worry about him, and that his family didn't have to worry about him.
So basically, what God did, he interpreted himself as your sister's best friend. So because he's not gonna come as himself.
Yeah, I
So
know.
you know, so you know differently.
But
Yeah, basically.
that's what's been confusing. It's like deep down I know it was God, but physically by earthly standards, I don't know if that was God or if that was just like my brain or my soul trying to bring me some kind of peace. because before I had that dream,
You know,
apparently his baby mama also had a dream with him where I guess he was telling her that the things had to happen in order for him to get better.
you know what's crazy? Like,
And that one I
if you
feel like might have been the work of the devil because I don't
that one,
think I don't think I don't think somebody's going to
yeah,
openly
that's
fake their
crazy.
death and hurt everyone that they love if their whole goal is to become better, you know? So I think that might have been not necessarily the devil, but I don't think that was a work of God. And it kind of makes me wonder if
That was
my
probably more
dream
like her
was
dream.
supposed to
That was
be
more
like,
like her dream itself.
yeah, I don't know if my dream was like meant, if it was like supposed to be something for
Because
me
that's
or
the
if it
thing,
was
you don't know
supposed to
really.
be
Like,
something for her.
but you know what's crazy? Like, like I don't know if everybody should know this, but you know what's crazy? Like, nobody has really seen God. Not even the angels themselves. Not even the highest angel have seen him. You know that's crazy, right?
That's because technically God is formless. The only reason that we haven't seen him is because we are trying to
No,
envision
like
him
look, look, look.
within our
No, here's the
own
thing. Like
earthly standards.
the angels, they see he's up top somewhere, and he's up top somewhere in the cloud, somewhere there. And the angels, they talk to him, but they don't see him. But he said that he's gonna come back in his real form again, and he's gonna show everybody his actual self, his himself. You know?
That's the thing that I've always wondered.
Yeah.
God is all around us
He's
at all
basically
times. Pretty much
full of everything.
everything on this earth is God. Like it's a part of him. He created it. So it's like
Yeah, universe, everything.
when they say he's going to come back in his real form, is that supposed to mean his real form on his standards or real form for our standards? Because for our standards, real form would be, you know, coming down, taking the form of another human with flesh, bones, blood, all that.
Probably
Like for
himself
human
kind of
standards,
thing.
I feel like that's what real form is. But in godly standards, real form may just be not even really an awakening or an enlightening, but I don't know, rev- like
Probably himself,
revealing the
honestly.
veil, so to speak, completely revealing the veil. Like right
Yeah,
now, the
probably
veil
himself.
is being revealed, but slowly, very slowly. And I feel like when God is saying when he comes back in his real form, the veil is going to be completely removed.
I mean, he's
And
gonna
like there
appear.
will be
He's
absolutely
gonna.
no doubt whatsoever in anyone, whether you're atheist, a Christian, Islamic, Hindu, Buddhism, anything, no matter what you believe in, no matter where you are from or what you're doing at that current point in your life. I feel like when God comes back in his true form, the one thing absolutely no one will be able to do is deny it. And at that point, it will only become okay, well, now that
He's
we
gonna
know
come
this,
back.
now that this has happened, do we go into it or do we continue to seek our own paths?
I mean, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back in the day of judgment when he's gonna judge everybody, and when he's gonna like, basically destroy the Lucifer, the devil, basically, and it's gonna make everything perfect. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's actually kind of tricky because, bro, no, like, what is he gonna look like? Like, is he gonna look like a goddess, a god, old ultra something like like some anime type of stuff, or like some movie?
I think it's going to be interesting because I think, like, say, for the whole of humanity, if he comes when he comes back, I think he's going to look like a human to everyone, but everyone is going to see their own version of him within him. Therefore, even though we're all seeing him collectively at the same time, we're not all seeing like the exact same thing.
But here's
Like
the
I said, that
thing.
I think that's why like the testaments are so different. Like some people say his eyes are they don't necessarily have a color, they're just fire. They're just pure light. And then others
Here's the
say
thing.
he has a piercing bluish green eyes, and then another will say he has brown eyes. And it's like those are all Jesus.
I
But
want to
those are
ask you
all
something.
I think the variations that Jesus is um
I wanna
allowing
like
himself for us to see him in because it's what we want, and he is giving us what we want because he loves us so much. So it's
when
like,
I get to
yeah,
when I get to meet him or something, I wanna ask him like, how is he like how was he the only one in this whole entire like universe before this universe even existed? Like, is he truly like? How was he? How like did he? How was he dealing with everything like
he
emptiness?
created
How was he
everything.
there? Yeah, how was he there? Like, but that's the thing, tricking. Before the universe, there was nothing.
I
So
don't even
like,
think those are. I think those are questions
what was
you
he
can
even?
ask, but you're not gonna get an answer to because those are things that
Yeah,
you're just not. It's like it doesn't make a difference whether you
yeah,
know it or not, and so God is probably gonna be. Those might be one of the questions God just doesn't answer.
yeah. He's gonna dodge because
But
he's
at the
not
same
gonna
time,
get
it's not.
paid.
It's not really dodging because at the same time, the earthly, our earthly bodies are limited. Not just what we can do, but what we can learn and what we know. But from what I've understood, whether been an experience going to hell or heaven or whatever, the one thing I've understood that you can collect from all of that is you know everything. You know everything about everything on the other side. And so, like,
Oh yeah, bro.
the
You want to
questions
know
you
something,
think you would have here that you would want to ask them, those won't be the questions, like, when you're in front
bro?
of them.
I'm
Those
not
aren't going
gonna
to be the
lie,
questions
bro.
when you ask them.
I think I don't know if you've seen this before, but I think I seen demons before. Like
Yeah, it's
there were
possible.
demons. Yeah,
It's real.
bro,
If you saw
bro.
them, you saw
No, no,
them.
no. Like, yeah, I'm being so dead. You know why? Because, bro, when I was a little kid, every single time when I used to go to bed, there used to be like figures walking around my bed, like literally. I'm not even being dead ass. I used to close my eyes, open again. There's still figures walking around my bed and like stuff like that. Some of them were like almost crawling and stuff like that, you know? Like, bro, I'm being so dead ass. And here's the thing. Every single time when I call my grandpa or like my dad, they all used to run away. They also used to disappear, like go in the other room or something. Like, I'm being so dead ass, bro. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. Was it because they knew?
What happened?
I said, is it because they knew?
Yeah, bro. Here's the thing. When I was outside, I'm not even hallucinating. When I was outside and I was playing soccer and everybody was outside too, there was the bedroom where they always used to run in. I looked at the window and there was somebody waving their hand. There was like a face waving their hand at me. I'm like, bro, that is so weird. Remind you, I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, I was such an intelligent kid. Like, I knew everything. I know how to do everything by myself, bro. I like, bro, everything, bro. And I knew I was not tripping, bro. But then when I got older, like that just disappeared. Like the thing disappeared. I couldn't see them anymore. And I still feel that they're still around me here, and I still feel like they're around me, but I can't see them. You know?
Right. You know, there's a reason why God says that we need to be children, that we need to act like children in His presence, because children are innocent. And in the same way that we can agree and point out that children have no filters, they tell the truth, even if it's harmful. Like, they will tell you the truth, no regards given. I think that's kind of how God wants us to pretty much be in terms of
I
in
mean,
His
we're all children
presence.
compared to
We
him,
are,
so
but He wants us to have that childlike mindset, like that curiosity to always learn and not be so quick to um what's the
yeah,
word? Not condemn. We won't be so quick to accept something for what it is, just going off of surface information, you know.
yeah. It's like, bro,
And so maybe
it's
that's
like,
why when you were a kid, you were able to actually see all that stuff because you were still at a point in your life where your innocence wasn't corrupted by earthly
yeah,
standards. They weren't corrupted by
yeah. That's what I'm
um
saying. Because when you're a
being
little kid,
human,
like,
pretty much.
bro, when you're a little kid, there's not that much like God protects you. Like there's not like you see everything how it is, you know. Like, bro, I literally saw these people, bro. I don't know if they were even people, but I saw them, bro. I'm not even lying to you, bro. I used to tell my grandpa and my because my mom used to always work. I used to tell my grandpa and my dad and his friends, bro, I'm seeing these people walking around and they're literally right there, bro. Right there, and they're just walking around my bed and stuff like that, and they just run away every single time when an adult comes in. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro.
Right.
Like some now imagine, I mean, honestly, like I tell myself this, like I really don't care. Like if I see the devil, I'm not really afraid of him or anything. But like, how would you think he looks like in his like not his angel form? What do you think he might look like? You know?
He looks like everyone and everything.
Yeah, like
He's the
bro.
same thing. He's the same thing. He appears, I believe, the same way God would appear. The only difference is he has none of the uh, none of the power, none of the authority that God has. He's more of like a copycat. That's why they're calling him the
I mean, he
Antichrist.
wanted to become God,
Yeah,
so
he wanted to become God, but I don't think, and maybe he did understand this and just chose to ignore it, but he wouldn't exist without God. His beauty, his intelligence, his ultimate twisted nature from being
wait, I
God's
yeah, I
highest to
understand.
being
Like,
God's lowest. Like none of that would have happened if God had not deemed it so. In the sense that if God
bro,
had
I'm
not
not gonna lie,
created
bro. Like,
him, he wouldn't have any of these feelings to feel like
bro,
he wanted to be
here's the
worshipped
thing.
or anything like
I'm
that.
not gonna lie, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like how you know how God says to forgive? Like I'll probably forgive him. I'm not gonna lie to you, you know. Like I know he's not a person that you can probably forgive. He's not gonna take that as granted, but like bro, like honestly, like you know, like just forgive him, whatever, you know, whatever he does, all the things that he does, and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. I think I think that's what God one of the things God is trying to show us and teach us is like yes, it's one thing to have forgiveness, but forgiveness is for everyone, but that does not mean that forgiveness erases what is done. And
I know, but here's the thing, but like,
Satan,
bro,
I think Satan's biggest sin, which is why for us there is literally only one sin that cannot be forgiven, which is blasphemy against the Holy Ghost. I think that is Satan's biggest sin. And I think that's why even though God forgave him, God can never allow him back into paradise. He can never allow him to take any kind of control or have any kind of power that he had previously because
yeah,
he
he was
pretty much
banished.
committed
He
the
was
ultimate
banished.
sin, which is blasphemy against pretty much blasphemy against God.
Damn, bro, like, bro ruined his whole life just for power.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why I try to avoid religious conversation within the everyday context because I don't ever want to be that person who knows the word, knows God's word, and then actively denies it by, saying that he doesn't exist and stuff. Like, just as much as I don't have proof of his existence, I have just as much proof that he doesn't. Or that he,
Yeah,
as
you're good, bro.
much, hold on, as much
You're good,
proof
bro.
as I have
I'm sorry.
of his existence, I also have the same amount of proof that he doesn't exist. And
No,
so
that
it's
was funny.
like
I'm sorry,
because
bro.
I don't have enough evidence to support one side or the other, I have to make the choice myself. Like do I want to believe or do I not want to believe? And for me
Yeah,
personally, it's just simpler to believe because even though I can't put the blame on him, I can honestly say that not everything that I do in life, not everything that happens to me, good or bad, is because of necessarily my choices. Like knowing that this all happens, good or bad, because he has a plan for it, makes
yeah,
me feel better overall about my life.
yeah. Like I mean, the plan could take for years.
And
Like
I
the
feel like
plan
that's
could
how
take for
everybody
like
should
till you're
see it.
70. Like, bro, the plan could take until you're 70 years old. You never know. Like that's his plan, you know.
His plan you could never, your part of the plan might not be fulfilled until you're literally taking your last breath. And how do we
Yeah,
know that our life pretty much was the purpose? Like
yeah,
we
that's what I'm
we
saying.
spend so much time worrying about our finding our specific purpose in life, but our life is the purpose.
Yeah, everything like, bro, life is purpose, bro. That's the whole
Like
point.
everyone wants to look
Live.
further, and I'm just as guilty, you know? Like I know life that the purpose of life is life. But
Come closer to him, basically.
I
That's the
also
purpose.
feel like even with that, I feel like I could still have a specific task and I just don't know what it is, but I feel like that's probably why it's so confusing because I feel like there should be more, but I know
I
that
mean,
there
basically,
doesn't have to
honestly,
be more and it doesn't necessarily need to be more. And it's like, so what am I supposed to do? Because I feel guilty about living my life knowing that the world suffers. So it's like, does that
yeah.
make me a bad person because I don't want to enjoy a good life knowing that the people around me are not sharing in the same good fortune that I am, the same good health, or the same positive mindset about life itself that I am? Like,
Yeah, like sometimes you say, like sometimes like there's like sometimes like you say like you're living a bad life, but there's people that are like they're kind of worse. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, there are
Like
people.
everybody is worse.
Yeah, that's
But
where
like
that whole it could always be worse or the grass is always
yeah,
greener on the other side. I think that's where those phrases come from. But it's like,
yeah,
if you're someone who genuinely just doesn't like to feel bad, it doesn't matter the scale of the act itself. It's fighting that feeling of being bad. That is the struggle. It's the struggle of fighting to not feel like you are a bad person because we know innately that we are. We're born sinners. Even though
but that's but
we
the
don't
thing
even
is,
if we don't do anything in our lives necessarily to sin, we're because we are born human, we are that means we are automatically born as sinners. So it's like when you know that, how can you be happy with yourself? How can you be happy with the world at any point?
yeah. I mean, honestly, bro, like I do things, bro, and I don't feel bad about nothing. The things I do, I'm telling you, bro. I'm sorry, bro, but like that's how I am. But I'm trying to better myself. Like I do things that I don't even feel bad about even doing. Like I just say I don't care, you know, like. And that's like, bro, like, yo, I don't know if I'm messed up in the head or something, but like, bro, like, yo, I'm being so generally dead ass right now. Like, bro, like, it's like weird. It's a weird feeling, you know. Like, I don't, not much people can understand me, but it's like a weird feeling.
Right.
Like, I don't like. How do you say it? Like,
I don't know. I feel bad for everything I do, good or bad. Like for some reason there's just that
here's
feeling
the
or
thing.
voice that's like you could have done more or you could have done
But
less or
here's
you
the
could have
thing.
done
Like,
it
look,
this way or you could
here's
have
the
done it
thing.
that way and it's like I feel like
But
everything I do is bad and it's
no, but here's the thing.
only
But here's the thing.
everyone
I
else that
feel.
makes it feel good.
I also feel bad as well. But here's the thing. I also feel bad as well. But here, when like also, you know how I feel bad because, bro, like when I say something to my mom, when I yell at her or when I yell at somebody that I didn't have to yell at them, like I start thinking, I'm like, bro, what did I do that? Like there was no reason for me to yell at them, so like I go and apologize, you know, even if they are mad at me, I still apologize, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, bro, like I'm not gonna lie, it's like I do bad things and then like I know they're bad and I still do them and I know they're bad and like you know like it's kind of weird.
I think that stems from an unconscious mindset of it is what it is, or what's gonna happen is gonna happen regardless of what you
Yeah,
do. So it's like if you have an impulse to do something, just do it because the consequences are not going to change.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not. That's how.
And that's
That's
where it's
how.
that's why it's so dangerous. It's that
Yeah, like,
nonchalant thing.
yeah, it's not. And I don't do that to be like brave, to look tough against God, because I know I'm not nothing compared to Him. But like I do the things because like there's so many things that happen that like it got to a point that like here's the thing, bro. I was I was born like since I was a little kid. I always thought different than other people. Like people like they think the same thing, and that's like me thinking that. But people sometimes they think the same thing. I think like out of the box, you know. Like I always think out, you know. And
Yeah.
some people they tell me, oh wow, how did you even think? How did you even come up with that? How did you even think about it? And I was like, I don't know. It was just right there, you know. Like I always found a different way, you know. Like, and here's the thing, I always like how some people see that as bad. I never saw that as bad. I saw that as something that probably it was good for me, or
That
like
is
it
you
was.
literally you thinking your own thoughts, not thinking thoughts based on the thoughts of others. And
Yeah.
that's something I just recently came to remember about myself is I made a choice when I was younger that I would go against anything that I thought or felt personally, and I would just adopt the ways of everyone else to blend in, just so I wouldn't have to stand out and be different.
Yeah.
Because, like, when everybody's sitting there making jokes about something, even if it's in a lighthearted sense, and I'm not joining in on that, it's not because I feel like I'm better than anyone else. It's because I generally don't see, like, I don't see any.
Reason to join. That's what I see it, bro.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to do it. Not even just because it's right or wrong, but like
Just because it's a
I just
waste of
don't
time.
see a reason to do it.
Yeah, it's just a waste of time for me, you know. Like
Yeah,
it's
because it's
not.
like it's not the same thing as like looking for a cure for cancer. So like if you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
do
like
things in an effort to look for cancer, okay, but you have an end goal. Like the all those actions, all those words, that behavior, those manners, they're leading up to something that you're trying to accomplish, curing cancer. But when you're sitting there just making fun of someone because of the way they look or the way they sound or the way they grew up or because they don't have what you have or they have something that you don't have, like when we sit there and make jokes about that or try to bring them down in these what we would consider lighthearted ways, I've never been someone who just automatically felt the need or felt the desire to do that. And I would
yeah.
only really do it to pretty much, like I said, to not stand out, because I was always the one being looked at for being the quiet one, the one who doesn't like get in on when everybody else is getting in on.
Yeah, you know why? Like, bro, I think I might be like, is it? I don't know. What I'm about to say might be selfish, but like, bro, I don't know. I like, bro, like, I used to do stuff, and I think I still do it. I always used to do stuff just to make myself look better, you know. Like, that sounds crazy, right? I know you thinking that sounds crazy, but like, bro,
No, the only reason I don't think it sounds crazy is because I observed that fact within
yeah,
pretty much
and I
people
didn't.
in and of itself. Like a lot of people will go against their own nature just to appear better in the eyes of someone else.
No, 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 and no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I never did that to appear better in the eyes of
You
anybody. I
never
just
did that to appear. No, listen, you never did that consciously. You never actively took the steps to do it. But subconsciously, that is what you were doing.
yeah. I was literally doing that shit. But here's the thing.
But it's a good thing that you're able to distinguish that now. That you're able to
Yeah.
discern that you weren't necessarily doing things, just to do them. You were doing them in an effort what you
And here's
thought
the
would
thing.
make yourself or your life better.
Yeah. But here's the thing: I was not like, you know how the other people they say, oh, now you know how other people they're like, oh, I do this to look better myself, to look more handsome, to look more rich. No, I never did that to that way. I did it for like myself, you know. I did it for like to gain. I don't know what I gain. I don't know what I gained from that. Honestly, like it's so weird, bro.
You do what everyone does. You do what you think will help make your life better in the long run.
Yeah, and I used
Even
to
if it
like,
doesn't,
bro.
and even if it's not
Here's
the
the
right
thing.
way of doing it, you still think that it's the right way, and therefore you will do what you think is right until you are proven that it's not right.
Here's the thing. If you were in my way and like something, nah, I think I might be messed up. But like, bro, nah, bro. If you were like in my way, if you were like trying to bother me or something, and I was trying to do something that like something good or something, like, bro, I don't know what I did, but like, I did something to like, no, bro, no, bro. Nah, I'm exposing myself, bro. Hell no, nah,
Mhm.
bro, nah, bro,
All right,
bro.
we're
No,
gonna
it's
get
like, bro. Nah, it's just like weird, bro. You know, like it's like so weird. Like, but that's the thing. So many things happens to you, and like you don't know which thing's like the right thing. You know, until like you find out. You know,
right.
so it's like weird.
And
But look,
actually,
but I know what you mean. Like, I was always the quiet kid. But I always observe people. I always observe everything around me before I act before I act. You know,
yeah,
that's how I am. Like I always absorb. I always let people do stuff first, and then I'll do it after. You know
right.
that's how I am. Honestly, like I was like that. But you know how they always say there's always a kid in a family member that is always the quiet kid, and it was always
Yeah,
born different. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say. Honestly, I mean sometimes that's true. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
It definitely feels like it's true for me.
Yeah, it's definitely cause like, bro, it's like you like I didn't find any reason to talk, you know. I just watch people around me talk and laugh and all that, you know. It's like, bro,
Yeah, it was how I
because I
learned.
always thought
That was how I developed my personality. I
I
wasn't
always
doing
thought
it to
like,
fit in, but I was doing it to counteract everyone else's personality, and I
yeah,
would
because
just
I
look for
always thought
neutral
like,
ground.
yeah, I always thought like if I did too much crazy stuff, I would stand out and so much people will pay attention to me, and that's what I didn't want, bro. I would look like the clown in the class or like the clown in the spot, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I like and then I got older. I laugh and stuff like that. But like sometimes like I laugh because sometimes it's funny. Sometimes stuff is funny. But I'm mostly like when I'm really thinking and about myself. Like when I'm really thinking and stuff. Like I just absorb. You know. Like I don't. There's no point of like doing that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I can see when people there's something wrong with people or something. Now I can see when something is like how do you say it? It's not like you read people. It's like you know that there's something that somebody is not comfortable with. You know?
Right.
Yeah, basically that.
Come on. Are you gonna focus or no?
Screen is black. What the heck?
Yeah, I know because I'm trying to get my camera to focus. I have both my cameras set up. So like I have this camera on right now, and then I have like when we're playing games, I have this camera.
Bro,
But this camera for some
wait,
reason doesn't want to actually focus.
solo, not no solo.
What?
Wait a minute. Wait, I think God is actually hearing us right now. Bro,
God
Tell
is
me
always
how.
hearing us. I
No, no,
think
no,
the
no, no,
issue is
no,
he
no,
gonna
no,
is he
no.
gonna
Look, look,
chime in
look.
on the conversation, or is he gonna be like us and just sit back and listen?
No, here. Listen out, listen out. Tell me how I clicked on your video on your live. The first thing I saw was the one prayers for today you need right now, and it was like God and stuff like that. It's a video under your like your under your live right now.
And that might be yeah, that might be God answering you and me, because right before I sent him a prayer and I asked him, I was like, if this is something, because I feel like it is, I feel it's something I need to do, but if me starting this channel and starting to, share my thoughts and my journey with people, I was like, if this is something that is good in your eyes and it might, you know, do good for your will, I was like, please let people come in here, even if it's just one, like, let
And there's another
someone
one.
come in here.
There's another one below that's you of the faith and come and follow me. And there's other ones as well, bro.
Yeah, like I said, I would rather live this life as a righteous fool than a unrighteous scholar.
Well,
And
I
I know
think
people are probably confused by that, and it's like, what do you mean? I pretty much mean I'd rather believe in God and give my life to God and be wrong about that in the end than spend eternity, you know, ignoring him now, or
bro.
ignoring him now and then end up in eternity without him. Because honestly, I feel like that's the worst thing. That's worse than going to hell itself. Like,
Yeah.
having God pretty much say, yeah, I'm done with you. I gave you a chance. You didn't take it. Like, it's over. At that point,
Yeah.
I feel like, I know he won't, but I feel like ceasing to exist is just as much of a loss as having to send a damned soul to
Bro,
hell.
exactly. I know what you mean.
And
You
it's
like
like,
somebody.
if ultimately all this is for my life personally, if ultimately after all of this it's my time, and God, and I do end up failing God on that level, I really wish and hope that He will show me mercy and just completely wipe my soul from existence itself. Like, I don't want to spend eternity in hell, because yeah, that is suffering and stuff.
Yeah.
But personally, I feel like the second I lose God forever, there is nothing, no hell, nothing hell can do that'll be a worse form of torture. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'd
There's
rather cease to just exist. I'd rather my soul itself cease to exist than to lose God. And I know
yeah. I
that
think,
God's not
bro,
going to
if you
do
lose
that,
God, like there's
because
nothing
God
else
loves us too
you
much.
can do. Bro, if you lose God, bro, I mean, bro, there's nothing else you can do, bro. Like it's GG's, bro.
That's probably that's like the biggest thing, that's like, how can I obey God and do what he wants without feeling like I'm only doing it because I am supposed to do it. And it's weird because I know I'm
Just
supposed to
came
do
at
it.
my door.
God says I'm supposed to do it. I personally feel like I'm supposed to do it. I feel good when I do what I'm supposed to do. But how do I know that ultimately that's just going to be for nothing? And not in the
Okay.
sense as, and I don't mean not in the sense as it's for nothing, like I get to the end and there is no heaven or hell, but I mean, like, what if I what if I'm doing everything that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing? I do everything that God expects me to do, but for some reason I still fail.
Man,
That's my biggest issue, and why I struggle with
what's
pretty
your
much,
biggest fear, bro?
just doing anything, like going out and helping people or not helping people, like pretty much everything that I do. The procrastination comes from just not knowing whether or not I'm doing what ultimately should be done.
Yeah.
And if you were
Bro,
asking what my fear is, I have no earthly fears. I don't care about dying. It doesn't scare me. It doesn't scare me to lose anyone here on earth. What scares me is pretty much like I said, going through all of this, trying to be righteous and godly in my ways, and
I mean, a
then
lot of
being
people are
told
not
that
scared to
it
die.
just wasn't enough.
I
Because
mean, a
ultimately,
lot of
that's what
people.
that's what I feel like could happen. Like pretty much, I'm gonna be told I'm not worthy.
I mean, a lot of people are
But
not
I
scared
also
to
know
die
that if I'm
because,
told that, it's
like,
because I chose to not be worthy. And it's like, how do I choose, or how do I make sure to choose the right choice without also corrupting my feelings about that said choice?
mm,
That's why I
yeah,
wish God would just take away my free will. Because I feel like if I didn't have free will, everything would be easier. I wouldn't be so inclined to question right or wrong. I would just do it. And I think that's
but
kind
you
of
can't
what
do it,
God
you
wants
know.
us to do. God wants us to get to that point
But
where we're
here's the
not
thing.
going to
This is where
question it. We're just going to do
look,
it.
look, look, look. But here, this is the thing. This is where you got it wrong, because, bro, you gotta breathe, bro. This is where you got it wrong, bro. Because if he takes your free will, what are you? You're a perfect person, right? And the only perfect person is him, right? So
No.
you gotta understand.
God, no.
Yeah, bro.
Well, that's the thing. Jesus had free will. Jesus chose free will to come down here to live amongst us and stuff. But that was still free will. But even if he
But
didn't
you don't
have
know
that,
that.
he still would have
That's
been
the thing. Look, look,
perfect.
look. That's the thing. You don't know that. That's based on your opinion, right? Based on our opinion, but you never know what God was thinking in that moment. You know. That's why I really don't even say that much. If it was like, oh, he came here just to do this. Honestly, sometimes is just not to say anything, because you never really know what was going through God's mind, Jesus' mind, and the person, and what they were thinking. You know.
But what happens if God tells you himself what he was thinking?
I mean, if he tell me what
God,
he
that's the
was
thing.
thinking,
God,
probably good.
well, that's the problem. God has told us exactly what he's thinking, and we still have the audacity to say, nope, that's not right.
Yeah, because some of the things that he was probably thinking, you probably want to understand, because he's on a different level than all of us. He's thinking different level than all of us that we could ever even imagine.
Yeah,
Like,
because our
look,
issue is we're
he
trying to understand God, and God is not someone you can understand. Plain and
yeah,
simple.
like that's what some people don't understand. Like, you're trying to understand the wrong person that you can't, you know. And like, here's the thing, like here's the thing. God, for example, if he, like for example, if he tells you, oh, he wants 100,000 people to die, but for this reason and this reason why that's gonna happen, you're gonna say, oh, why 100,000 people are gonna die? Why is that? They're innocent people, you know. But he knows the reason why that's all gonna be good for to be better for the world and to be better for, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, that's usually God's way of testing your faith. It's like
Yeah.
if I ask you to do something hard, I need to know that no matter what, no matter how you feel, no matter what you think, you're still going to do it. And
Yeah.
that's why God loved Abraham, because even though he questioned his motives about sacrificing his son, ultimately he still ended up going through with it. And that was
Yeah,
like
and
when
bro,
God was
and he
like,
got
okay,
those
okay, stop,
Jesus.
stop, stop. Okay, like I don't need you to kill your son. I just needed to know that you were willing to do it. But it's like I
Yeah.
think that's what God is trying to get us all to understand. Like we're all trying to understand the wrong things. We're trying to understand
Yeah.
things he doesn't want us to understand, while he's trying to get us to
Yeah,
understand things he wants us
he's
to
trying to tell
understand that
us,
actually will make a difference
basically
and,
trying to tell us to not worry
change
about
things.
those things. He's basically trying to tell us to not worry about those things, because those things are not meant for us to worry about. We're near worry about the other things that he wants us to like enjoy our life, be kind to other people, and get closer to him. You know, that's what he wants us to
Yeah.
understand.
Jesus
He
said that
doesn't
he
want us
came
to.
down to
Yeah.
minister men, not to be ministered by man. And I think that's the same
Yeah.
thing we're
Like,
trying to
you're
do.
basically
We're trying
like
to understand God instead of having, or we're trying to get
yeah.
God to understand us.
I'm gonna say something very important right there because you're basically questioning his creation. That's what you're basically doing, right? That's
Yeah.
basically what you're doing. You see, like if you're trying to understand him, you're basically just questioning his creation, why he did everything what he's did, and you're not basically getting closer to him. You're just questioning him. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what leads to blasphemy, the ultimate unforgivable sin, is trying to
Yeah,
understand something you're not meant to understand. Because if you were meant to understand it, we would understand it. The same way that we are able to breathe on our own without having to think about it.
yeah,
We understand that that happens because it's just a necessity. That is one part of life that allows for humans to, live. Well, for
yeah.
everything to live. Like, we just understand that without oxygen, maybe we can find a way to live, but it's going to be a lot more miserable than it is now with oxygen. Like, these are
So I
things
mean,
that we
has
know and we
anybody like
understand because we are supposed to know and understand that. We're not supposed to know and understand what God's thinking about. Because then,
I
if
mean,
we do that,
honestly,
then we think that we can counteract whatever it is he's thinking, that we can be two steps ahead of him. And we are not
I have
that
a question.
superior. Like, we're not.
I have a question. Does anybody even feel how it feels to be without oxygen? I don't think anybody experienced that yet, or even has.
Not really. I mean, I feel like the people that are closest to knowing how it feels to live without actual oxygen are the ones who are unfortunately stuck in like the iron lungs.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like those people know are the ones that know best what it's like to live without oxygen. But yeah, I don't think
yeah, because
anybody
bro, like
actually knows
people
what
that
it's
are
like to
living,
live without oxygen that have
like
lived
for
through it
example,
and been able to, tell us again.
like here's the thing. Here's what like some people like I don't know like that's the thing. You can't get mad at them. You have to forgive them. But some people don't understand like what other people like what they go through. Like they think it's funny when like when it's the real time to like actually be serious about something. They think it's funny and they think oh it's just a joke or something like they can just joke about like bro. There's actual people out there that are living with a mechanical heart just to stay alive. If
Mm-hmm.
that thing turns off, they will die instantly, bro.
I have a friend named TikTok. He has a mechanical heart.
Yeah, like
That's why
people
they
don't.
call him TikTok, because when it's silent, you hear his heart tick tick tick
Yeah,
tick.
because people don't understand. Like, bro, if
He's
that
a real
machine
good
turns
dude too.
off, if that machine turns off, they're dead. Literally, there's no surviving that. They can't. You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
And people think, oh, that's a funny. He's a robot. Oh my god, he has superpowers. No, it's not like that, bro. Like, that's actually sad, bro.
All that is us spitting on our gift of having all of our limbs, of having everything working and functioning the way it's naturally designed to function.
Exactly,
Like,
bro. You
we
came
do
in
that as a way of spitting on our own gifts.
exactly. You came
And
to
then it's
take
like
a
when we
shower
actually go through it
properly, bro.
ourselves, and then we understand like what they were going through when we were
Exactly.
persecuting them based off of that.
You came and run. You came and run outside. You can't do that because, bro, you have to be next to that machine 24 hours 7. Or else if you're not like you're gone. Like people don't understand that. And here's the thing: what's funny and messed up. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not. I didn't mean to say funny. Okay, here's the thing: was
Funny in
actually
the
messed
ironic,
up.
messed up kind of way, not funny in the haha way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's like messed up? People like there's actual somebody that was living on Mechanic Heart on TikTok, and he was posting like his routine and stuff, like how he was describing, and he was like sharing his a video on how it works and stuff, and he turned it off himself. He didn't turn it off. He he showed how it worked, how much battery he needs, different batteries if power goes out or anything like that.
Right.
And people were like laughing in the comments talking about, oh, he's like, oh, bro, if the power goes out, bro's a goner, bro's a loser. Like, bro, people are literally saying that, and like, it's like messed up. Like why would you say that, bro? Like if you were in that position, like you would like people to make fun of you, to laugh at you, and to see how it feels to be in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's why I try to live I'm like, I won't. That's why people consider me quiet, but I don't think it's me being necessarily me being quiet. It's more so me thinking and making sure that I'm thinking through what I want to say, because
Yeah, before
you
I
know
act, basically.
ultimately it doesn't matter. Like I said, I'm smart. We're all smart, but at the end of the day, we're all ignorant people. We're all Humanity is ignorant in and of itself simply because we don't know like the next person. We don't know everything about their life, the experiences they go through, what pretty much shaped them to be the person that they are today. Like because we don't know that about everyone around us, we are ignorant in our ability to share in and celebrate the similarities that we all share, which are pretty much
And here's the thing.
we're all
Like,
alive with, for the majority of it, even if it's a slight different variation like a mechanical heart, we're still alive. We still have functioning body parts. Like we still have the ability to communicate with each other and to, you know, just live
yeah,
life.
yeah. Honestly, yeah.
And I think we become
Literally, bro.
so greedy that we've taken that privilege for granted, and it shows through our ability to just openly be able to make fun of, hurt other people, say things that we may not necessarily believe ourselves, but we say it just to say it.
Yeah, because back then, like, I don't know if you never felt this way, but back then, when your friends and stuff made fun of another person, like you were laughing, but you knew it was wrong. You know, like you ever felt that way?
Yeah, but there was more times I felt like I intentionally try to be that person that doesn't do that, and like I would
Yeah,
intentionally put the attention on myself to get it away from that person that, was dealing with it.
yeah,
But it would kind of fluctuate. Like I would go back and forth between like kind of laughing it off, but then intentionally doing stuff that are gonna make them be question like, hey, why are you talking to this guy? Like he's a weirdo. She's a weirdo. She smells. Like
yeah. That's
why
what
are
I'm
you
saying,
being
right?
nice
Like
to her?
that's what
Why
I
are you
did.
being a friend? Like are you trying to prove that you're better than us and stuff? And it's like, no, it's just because in those moments I feel truly like myself. And it's when
Yeah,
I'm
like,
trying to
bro.
be someone else to blend in to fit in with everyone else, that's when I feel different. And if I'm
Yeah,
actively going to make myself feel different, then I might as well just lean into it and, go along with it.
yeah.
So
That's
it's
what I'm
like
saying.
I'll go along and I'll laugh at someone else's expense, but only for a very quick second, because that feeling of shame and that feeling of like knowing that that's not who I am personally,
Nah, but
that
then,
takes
like,
over, and then I'm just quiet.
here's the thing. But when they were trying to hurt, like when they were trying to hurt somebody, I would step in and I would tell them like, "Come on, don't do that." Like I would get mad. I would get mad at them, and they will see that I'm mad at them. I wouldn't let them try to hurt them. You know, like like I don't know. Like I feel like if I let them hurt them, that was on me. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
how I
that,
feel like.
that, that's another one of my many mental issues. It's like, do I have a savior complex, or is this just how it's supposed to be? But because humanity has got it so twisted that instead of this feeling like the norm, this feels like the abnormal. Like doing what is right feels abnormal because of how we have normalized
Like yeah,
not
like
doing
bro,
the right
I
thing.
feel like bro, when I get mad, I feel like I just want to punch you, like grab whatever and hit you with it, like whatever. But then I feel like no, I feel like sorry, like you know, like I don't want to do that because I
I
don't want to
know, I
hurt
feel
you.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I killed you in my head 23 different
yeah,
times already.
yeah,
But I
literally,
feel
bro.
guilty for
Like I
even
see your
having those
picture.
thoughts because I know that I can never actually bring myself to do that.
Yeah, like I see you already like laying down, but like, bro, I don't
Like
want to do that because like the guilt, you know, like I don't want to feel that, you know, like, bro.
I know, and that's
That's
what I wonder, and I ask God, I'm like, does that make me a bad person to have these thoughts? Like, even though I know deep down I'm not that person that can act on them, especially act on them and not feel some type of way about it afterwards. So it's like, does that
Yeah.
make me feel guilty, or does that make me more of a bad person because I have these thoughts and I may not actively try to dismiss them, but I also don't lean into them? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because,
the
bro,
kind of
that's
the
like
way that
weird feeling.
they try to use video games as a way to channel like all those negative human characteristics, those traits, those emotions, those
Yeah,
behaviors.
that's what I,
But
bro.
then
That's what I
ultimately
do.
it ended up not being taken, the message of it wasn't received in the same way, and then video games ended up being something that was used to blame, and for the reason that caused these issues. And it's like, no, video games were used as a way to control
Yeah,
and
because, bro,
contain
I play
these types
games to
of
take.
emotions
Bro,
and things.
I literally play games to literally take my mind away from hurting somebody or like doing something wrong that I'm gonna regret, like, or just doing something stupid that's not gonna be good for me. You know, like I that's why I play games, and that's why people are like say, "Oh, bro, you play games all day and this and that," but they don't know the real reason why I play games, why I have fun playing, talking to people online. You know,
Yeah.
like some people they just talk, but they don't know the real reason. And I just basically don't pay attention to them. I do what I feel is good for me. You know.
Yeah, and that's been my issue as of late with the whole streaming and content creating. Like, I only did the gaming because at the time it was popular and I saw it as a stepping stone into this version
Wait,
of social interaction. But my main goal, honestly, wasn't to be known as like a gaming channel. I just wanted to
here's
use
the
that as a
thing.
stepping stone. But I ended up leaning too much into it, and now I'm kind of at that spot where it's like
Uh,
that's what everyone knows me as, and if I try to deviate away from that, then I'm gonna lose
here's the
people's
thing.
interest.
Here's the thing, bro. This is what I feel like. I don't. I think you feel the same way, but bro, it's easy to play a game and to become good at game, but it's hard to like. Wait, hold on. Let me. What? Okay, I had it in my mind. Okay, now I forgot it. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, it's easy to like play a game and know how to play the game and get good at it than to show others how to play and to show and to like make
To
and to
teach.
become a content creator, you know.
Yeah, it is
Like,
easier because ultimately
yeah,
the best way to learn something is to
like,
just do it. And I think that's what God is trying to. I think that's why God, why we're so hard headed. God is just
and here's
telling
the
us
thing.
like we got to stop talking about doing these things, these good things that will be pleasing to Him, and we got to stop talking about wanting to obey Him, and we just need to do it because it's only through doing it that we learn how to do it and how to do it right. So it's like we can learn to play the game, we can become good for ourselves, but that's not going to, help the next person learn how to
Yeah,
play the
work
game
for
and be
everybody.
good for themselves.
Yeah, some people they take like longer time to get good at the game. Some people they take a different mechanism, you know. Like everything that's for you is not doesn't work for other people, you know. Like
Yeah. That's what I'm trying
like
to
for
show everybody with the whole streaming thing. Like, everybody comes in here, especially in my stream, expecting to see the same kind of things that they see in other people's streams, all these fancy
yeah,
overlays and all of these and
or like
like all
or
these
like
other little things. And it's like
or like
you
people
don't
like
need all that.
people or like people screaming being hyped so like they can be hyped, bro. That's not me,
Yeah,
you know.
like the personality.
I don't want to
Everyone
fake myself,
streaming
you
has
know.
become so
Yeah,
much about that bubbly, energetic, always moving
yeah.
energy
That's like bro,
personality. And it's
it's
like
just
not
weird.
everyone's
I don't
like
want to.
that.
That's not myself, you know. That's just weird. I don't want to scream just to scream, even though I know that's not the right thing. That's not how I do stuff, you know.
Right, like if you're passionate about it, look, yeah, get
Yeah,
fired up, scream and stuff. But if you come in here expecting that that's gonna be the whole vibe for the majority of the time, like, I'm sorry, you're gonna be disappointed. Like,
yeah.
this,
Like,
my
bro, you're
channel
gonna.
specifically, not only
Yeah,
this channel, but my other main channel, like, I use those pretty much to show people that while what you see, the results of the other streamers, what you see on their stuff, that is simply the result of them putting in the work and doing what they wanted for their channel. I want my channel to be a stepping stone for those who feel like it's impossible. Like, I am literally living proof through my channels that you don't need all of this stuff to get your message across. You don't need all this fancy things for people to be interested in what you have to say or what you have to offer. And it's just doing it. It's being able to make that split decision to stop thinking and worrying about how things are going to turn out and just do them. I didn't know how to stream. You could sit here and I sat there and I watched different streamers, known and unknown, and like I tried to sit there and nitpick at all these little details, trying to like come up with a formula to explain their
Yeah,
success. But I learned that it doesn't matter how much research I do on other people's streams or content or things like that. I will never truly know and understand how to be a content creator or a streamer
yeah.
until I just do it myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like the only reason why like people like they get enjoy watching me the game and they're like, oh wow, what the heck, bro? Like
Right.
it's like something like that, bro. So
Like
like yeah,
my channel is kind of like, well, my whole shtick for being a content creator influencer. I'm pretty much like a homage to the very beginnings. Like
yeah,
I'm
be
trying to
myself.
be the humble channel, you know,
Yeah, like
that reminds people like it wasn't always all these fancy lights, big productions and things like that. That's just how it evolved. But it started as simple. It started as
yeah,
just
because bro,
sitting in front of a camera and talking to you guys or playing a game and
bro,
talking to
here's
you
the thing.
guys.
I'm gonna be serious, bro. And you probably know that this is the truth. Like I'm not saying like not saying I'm 100% what I'm gonna say. But here's the thing. I know that you're the type of person like if I do something crazy in the game, you're not gonna go with me and like, oh my god, bro, what the heck? Wow, how you did that? Like you're the type of person that would just stay calm and stuff like that. Like the only time I really see you excited about something, like go crazy about, is like when you hit a crazy snipe or something like that.
That's because for the most part, I just
Yeah.
expect these good, crazy plays. I expect them to happen,
Yeah.
but I don't expect. But when I expect me to be able to do that, that's where it surprises me because, like, I don't expect that I'll be able to actually hit it off. Usually, simply for
Yeah.
the fact that I'm usually trying to do tricks that I have never practiced for before, or I'm trying to just create a trick on the spot. And it's like, so
Yeah.
for me, when something like that happens, I'm truly excited for it because I did not expect it. But when someone else like you or something hit a shot, a trick shot, I am
Yeah.
excited for you, but I also expect
Yeah.
it because I already
Yeah.
know that you are good enough. You have the potential already
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And so all you're really
Yeah.
doing is just confirming what I already know or believe. And so it's like
Yeah.
I'm excited, but you can't really be too excited about something that you already know.
Yeah, like other streamer, like they're like start screaming and breaking stuff, like bro. Hey, come on. But yeah,
I feel like though some of that even that is like staged a little bit just for the
yeah,
purpose of appearance for when people go in and they pull the clip and then edit it and and then share it like that. And it's like you
yeah,
kind of have to be invested. You have to appear overly invested in what you're doing in order for anyone else to find any appreciation in what you're doing.
yeah, literally, yeah, literally. That's what I'm saying. Wait, oh, I forgot to tell you. I wanted to tell you this a long time. I don't know if you still remember this from your stream, bro. Remember when you like last time you played Bloodstrike? Remember that,
Yeah. Well,
bro?
it depends on what you're
Now,
talking specifically. I remember all the times I played
okay,
Bloodstrike.
remember, bro? How did you like? Okay, I'm not gonna say, but bro, how did you like finish all them kids with that sword, bro? Like, yo, that was broken, bro. That was crazy. That was actually crazy right there.
That one was just pure hope. Like
Bro, you
I
lost
was
it to like
hoping that
four
they would
people.
I was hoping that they would get close enough to me. I wouldn't have to sit there and worry too much about moving around, but not close enough where, they're going to overpower me and I won't be able to like swing
Bro,
this sword.
you
It just
literally
happened to
went.
line up. They got just close enough. I was able to just literally like stand in a circle and just start swinging. And I already knew someone
Bro,
was going to get hit and
so I'm
just keep
talking. I'm
doing
talking
that.
about. I'm talking about when you went up in the sky with the sword and you start be lasering the heck out of four people, bro. And they were all running around like, bro. That was insane, bro. That was actually epic right there. And
Oh,
I
I
like
think that's because of how when I play games, I don't know how it is for most
also
people,
I
but like
commented
with
that video. None of you saw
with
that.
FPS games, especially the battle royale games and games of that type of genre, I
Yeah.
think people unknowingly have a specific way that they focus. I When I play video games, and I think that's why I'm not necessarily able to say that I can be good enough to be pro or something like that, because I don't ever focus on one thing. Like when I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking at everything that the screen is showing me. And it's like
Yeah.
if there's a man in front of me, yeah, I'm aiming at him, I'm shooting at him, but realistically, my eyes are actually looking everywhere else except for who I'm aiming at. So like
Yeah.
I'm shooting.
But
So for like
you're
with
like
that sword, I was aiming at one person, but my eyes were actually looking at everything around him. And it's because of that where I was able to see, oh, there's a person over in this area, there's a person over in this spot. And so because of that, I was able to adjust. And it's like, okay, as soon as I'm done with here, I already know where I got to go next. Go here. Okay, I've done this.
yeah.
So now I know that there was a guy over there. And it's a 50-50. Either he's still there or he's not. So now I just move over to that side and he's still there. So that's another kill. It's like I look
Yeah.
at absolutely everything without focusing on one thing. And I think that's both the benefit and the disadvantage of playing the way that I do, because if you don't focus on one thing, you become blinded, which allows other people to like sneak up on you and stuff. But if you
Yeah.
don't focus, at the same time, if you don't just focus on one thing, you kind of do have a more general sense of the whole surrounding, which makes it harder for someone to be able to like sneak up on you.
Yeah. And like shooter games, me and shooter games, what I mostly focus about is like always keep moving, have good aim, uh, predict where they're gonna be. Like always know that to shoot there, like they're gonna be there, so I know where to aim at right there. I look around. Yeah, I also look around, but I like you know how like me. I'm the type of person like I like movement. Like I'm really good at movement and go being fast. And stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, like boom, movement, good movement, go fast, break their camera, whatever. And yeah, basically just that. Basically, and like good aim and stuff. And and then like I get third party and I just automatically die.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think that's probably been part of the reason why I'm not as good as I could be when it comes to video games, because I'm not focusing on the same mechanics that everyone else focuses on. Like, yeah, to a
yeah,
degree, I think that being able to master movement, able to master aim is definitely going to help you. But I also feel like that is not 100% solid, guaranteed solution to win the game. I think
yeah,
it's
because
just
bro,
I think the way to win the game is just to stay persistent. Even if you don't have the best movement, even if you don't have the best aim, you're not as flashy as others. What
yeah,
matters is you being able to get the job done. Can you get
yeah,
that
because
kill? Can you get that knock? Because if you can get that knock, it doesn't matter how flashy it is. It doesn't matter how messy it looks. It just matters whether or not you're able to complete that
yeah,
task.
because I know you and you're the type of person like bro, somebody can be moving on you, doing 360 on you, and you will still hit all your shots and kill them. Like bro, that's the type of person that that you are. And I seen that myself. Like when we play together, like bro, there's a kid moving around. Like even in Warzone, there's a kid moving around, and you still kill them. You know.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
I see.
because it's like it's kind of like the same thing, fighting fire with fire. Like if you get two people that have mastered movement and they try to fight each other, they're going to lean into the skill that they mastered, which is movement. So if you got two
Yeah,
people sitting there like going jumping
zigzag.
side to side, zigzagging around each other, you're
Yeah.
nobody's going to be able realistically nobody's going to be able to hit each other. But if you take
Yeah.
someone who is mastered movement versus someone who mastered aim, yeah, it might be harder to hit the person who mastered the movement,
You're
but
gonna
you
you're gonna
still
hit.
have a much better chance of coming out victorious.
Yeah, because they're moving and they're shooting you, but they're missing other shots. Even while you're like literally following all their movement with your aim. You know, like
Yeah.
bro.
And it's like in
Yeah.
those little and it's those little moments of like you're going against a sweat who's doing all this extra freaking movement and stuff
That's look
to
cool.
try to, and you just hit, you two tap them twice with a shotgun and they're down. Like that right there is proof that you can master a skill, and that still won't be enough to, to get you to the end goal. So it's like, to a
That's
degree, it's understandable and it's smart to master the mechanics, but ultimately it's not the only way to reach the end goal.
yeah, literally. But no,
And I
that's too
think that's what
funny.
I think that's a subconscious expectation that viewers come into like a gaming channel. Like they expect to see all of this crazy movement and this crazy
Yeah.
gameplay and stuff because they've come to a unrealistic conclusion that in order to be good at a game, you pretty much have to master
Yeah, that
this
makes you a
and that,
god in
or
the
you have
game
to be
or
able to do
something.
this or that, or not do this and that. But it's like, no, there are multiple ways to get and achieve what you want.
Yeah, like that makes
And
you a god in
I'm trying to
the
be one of those ones that prove and are example that as long as you put your mind to it, you will get it. Like whether you think
yeah.
you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's all because of persistence. That's all because of your internal desire to reach that end goal.
Okay, okay, okay. I like what you're doing. No, no, no. I like what you're doing right there, bro. I understand. I understand. I understand what you're talking about, bro. You're talking, bro. You're talking about the game at the same time, and you're talking about motivation at the same time. I like that. I like that.
Everything in
Like,
life is connected. We choose to
yeah,
tell ourselves that it's not, but it really is. Everything in life is connected, down to the
yeah,
most minute freaking detail. Like that black ant that you're walking down the street and you just look down and you see one black ant. You may not think that there's anything to it, but nature, life says that that ant has a purpose, not just for itself, but for life overall.
some people step
And
over it.
if,
Like,
yeah,
bro,
and some people, they ignore it. They step over it and go about their day. But that
or
does
step
not,
on.
but just because we make that choice doesn't negate the fact that it is what it is.
Then you have other people that step on it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
But
Like,
it's like
bro.
everything is connected. Everything truly
Oh
has a
yeah,
reason, good and bad. And
something.
even people just get caught up in
Also,
the
want
effects that it has on their personal life. And I think that's
something
the problem.
important. Something important I want to discuss here as well is like what is the effect about killing like animals, like innocent animals, like and you know that you kill them on purpose, you know? What's the what's the consequence for that? Like in God's eyes, like what do you think He might see? Like what do you know? Like what do you think about that?
Um, Honestly, I think it's simple because God had kind of already told us. Like, God gave humans domain over the earth. We are the ones who are in charge of all the birds, all the animals, all the pretty much like all the life on earth, including our own. But we are in
And
charge of all of that. So it's like he already knew that some of the things that were put on earth are going to be tools for humans to
yeah,
survive. Therefore, us killing animals as long as we're doing it with the intention of survival, not just for the act itself, I don't think
No,
I don't think God has any issue with that because I'm pretty sure that was his reason for creating it.
no, I'm talking about like in the other way. Like if you see a pile of ant, or you see like animals, and you just go there and step on it on purpose. Like bro, that's like messed up.
That would be the devil. That would be the demons and the influence of them. And you pretty much giving into that influence because there is no other reason you would have that thought. There would be no other reason you would have that impulse or that feeling to do such an act without it being a manipulation tactic for the fallen angel and his dominions.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I did kill ants before when I was little, like on purpose. Cause
Oh yeah,
like
we all have. We've
yeah,
all done that as children, but that was done out of innocence. That was
yeah.
honestly that was probably more out of just
Cause I used
curiosity
to look at them.
around
I used to look
life.
at them and study them. I used to just look at them close with my eyes and study them, and just let them move on my arm. And then when I was done playing with them, I would just kill them after. Like bro, no.
Yeah, me and my siblings, because we're part of that older generation of kids outside until the
Yeah,
street life thing. We were
yeah,
that. We were those kids. We ate ants. We would eat them. Sometimes my
yeah,
sisters would go above and beyond and eat other bugs, but like we would eat ants and we would cover
yeah.
them in
I would like,
chocolate and stuff.
bro.
So
I would literally look at them and like let them go on my arm and play with them for a bit. And when I got like bored of them, I would just squish them and kill them.
I
Like
was the
I'm
same. I was the same way with caterpillars. I would play with the
yeah,
caterpillars and then I would throw them in the fire because for some
yeah,
reason it was. I noticed caterpillars came out, or I would find more caterpillars anytime that we would decide to have a fire, like a campfire, or just even if it was in the middle
bro.
of the day, we would
I
have a
would do the
burn
same
barrel
thing.
and just start a fire for no reason. And
I
like,
would do the same thing. I would do the same thing with with a cockroach. I would burn it like to see how it suffers.
well, yeah, because
Like
everyone knows that they can. Cockroaches are one of those almost unkillables. They can survive a nuclear blast. So
yeah,
it's
they
like you
have
want to
thick and
know if
stuff.
they can survive a nuclear blast, what exactly is their limit? Oh, so they can survive a nuclear blast, but they can't survive you freaking taking your thumb and putting some pressure on their back. They're nope, they can't survive that. Their whole insides explode.
Yeah, literally, bro.
So it's
Bro, I'm not gonna
I think
lie.
we do that as kids out of the innocent curiosity that we have of the world, but it's not until we're older and we see those same curiosities be demonstrated through our fellow people that we don't learn like the importance of
Oh yeah. Like, and
that curiosity.
here's the thing. I would kill those small animals, but I would never would like want it to hurt like a bunny or anything like that, or a dog, or anything like that.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah,
I've always found that weird. Like why are we inclined like to impulsively cause damage to something but not to another, even if they're
yeah, that's what
within
I'm
this,
saying,
even if
right?
they're like
That's
within the
weird,
same
right?
category, we'll say, of life.
It's like it's almost like but in my opinion, I was like, oh, they have emotions, but ants also have emotions as well.
Yeah. All of, I think that's
Yeah,
the thing. Living organisms, no matter how small, I think that living organisms have emotions. They feel and they
yeah.
act and they
They get
operate
scared
the
every
same way that humans do, just maybe not with the same tools that humans have to
Yeah, that's
function.
something that's something interesting to learn about, because why would you kill that, but you don't do that to a cat or a dog, even though they have emotions. But they have emotions, like more emotions. But just because they're little, the ants and stuff, you still kill 'em. Now that's weird, right? That's kind of interesting, right?
That is, but that also makes them innocent, purely
Yeah,
innocent. They don't do, animals don't do anything that they're not naturally driven to do. Humans
yeah,
were not naturally driven to wear clothes. We were not naturally driven to create vehicles, create technology, or anything like that. Technically, by the Bible standards, humans had absolutely everything that is needed in order to survive. But because of everything that happened, that actually introduced the seed of desire in humans. And the seed of
Yeah.
desire is ultimately what was the main catalyst and the cause for pretty much everything moving forward in
And
terms
also
of
evil.
human progression.
And evil as well because you desire more stuff and more, and you desire sometimes evil stuff, you know?
Well, that's, yeah. I think that was when evil technically existed before humanity, but in terms
Yeah,
of
of course.
humanity, evil
Of course.
became evil became a fact of life
Bro,
after
evil?
the whole incident with learning good from bad, cuz I can only assume that if that never would have happened,
Bro,
two
evil?
things. Either humanity itself, I feel like wouldn't exist because Adam and Eve would have been content, God would have been content with just Adam and Eve being the only ones on earth
But look,
to
look, 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 look.
take care of the
Look,
earth. So I feel like
look.
maybe humanity itself would not exist
No,
as
here's the
far
thing.
as those two, past
No,
those
here's
two,
the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the
if
thing. You're
evil
right.
hadn't been introduced.
But here's the thing. You're right. You're right. And no wonder why God has not taken evil away because he already saw all that happen before it happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he knew that was all gonna happen. That's why there was all gonna be purpose. That's why he never just erased evil when it was the time before anything even really happened, you know?
You know, the only thing about this, though, that I feel like probably could have switched, and maybe I'm wrong and that's why it didn't happen, but I feel like when God sent the flood and wiped out humanity, that would have been a perfect moment to also completely eradicate sin. Therefore, moving
Yeah.
forward, Noah and his family, if God's plan was to have Noah and them, survive the flood and then do what he was intending to do with the Israelites and
Yeah.
give them a new way of living. I'm wondering if God could not have just eradicated sin in the same moment that he wiped mankind off the face of the earth with that very first flood. And if
Bro,
he
he
would
could
have
do
done
that.
that, would life not have been better moving forward?
Bro, he can do that anytime he wants. He can erase us just in the snap of his finger, even by thinking of
Well,
it.
not
He
I'm
can.
not talking about erasing us. I'm talking about erasing sin, the
Bro,
seed of
yeah, he
sin, the
can
concept of
literally.
sin.
Bro, he can erase the devil and just by thinking about him, bro. He can literally do that, but he's not doing that
I
because
know,
he's
but
still waiting.
that's where it gets confusing. He can do that, and he knows that that is a permanent solution.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He wants us to learn about that and the experience that, and he wants us to know that there's that true is happening and why it's happening, and he wants us to understand
You know what I honestly think?
to why it's happening and to become a better person, get closer to him. That's what he wants us.
You know what I think? What
Yeah.
if what if humanity was supposed to be or is supposed to be Lucifer's salvation? Not salvation as in allowing him back into heaven, but salvation as in being able to be forgiven and actually have a change of heart. Like, what if humanity is supposed to be Lucifer's salvation in the way
Yeah.
that God is showing him and telling him, hey, you think you want worship, you think you want all of this, but I can show you that you're wrong, that you don't actually want this. You just think you do. I can show you.
Yeah.
And of
Cause
course,
bro,
Satan being Satan, he's like, oh yeah, prove it. Well, I can show you that that is what I
cause
want.
look,
And so
bro,
God is like, all right, well, here's humanity. I
cause
will
bro,
prove to you that you can't, that what you want isn't what you want through humanity. If humanity doesn't
he can
turn to
basically
you,
not handle it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if God can have humanity turn to him, that will show and maybe convince the devil that having
Not
what
convince
he
him.
wants
Show him.
isn't actually what
Convince
he
him.
wants.
Not convince him. Like show him, bro. Because convincing sounds like too.
Yeah,
Like, come
convincing. I know,
yeah,
because God's not going to. God doesn't have to convince him, and
yeah,
honestly, I know he doesn't want to. But it's
yeah,
like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, what if humanity's purpose on the supernatural or celestial scales, what if
yeah,
our purpose is to be a salvation for
yeah. Because
the
bro,
celestial beings?
yeah, because bro, bro, Lucifer literally got thrown down here like lightning, bro. Like I said in the Bible, he got thrown down here in the earth like lightning, all the way in the court or whatever, and got prison here or something. Yeah, I think but isn't he? They said that he got prison here. Isn't he still prison here or what?
Yeah, he's still in the center of the earth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's still prison. He's still
But
prison here.
there's rumors that before Satan comes, there's actually another angel in between the earth and hell. He's called Abaddon, and there's rumors that technically he's supposed to come first to the earth
There's
before,
rumors.
like
There's
Satan's supposed to come.
there's rumors where people say, but they say that God created other angels be first than everybody else first, and those angels like they rebelled against him, and they were the one that turned Lucifer. They told Lucifer about the true thing about God, you know. I mean about him, and then that's why Lucifer rebelled against him.
But that's the thing, like Lucifer was already smarter, and he was in from our perspective, he was already the more superior angel of all of them. And I think it wasn't until after not even
Yeah,
necessarily after him already starting the rebellion, but I think it was after his change. That's what ultimately ended up being the catalyst for angels to also change, because I feel like even while he was still like in the process of changing, angels still never had like their own thoughts, their own decision, their own judgment about humanity. Like
cause bro,
they literally
look,
still were just obedient to God. Like whatever God said, that's how it is. But
bro,
it wasn't
look,
until after Lucifer changed that some angels were
and people
starting
don't
to
think.
question and like come up with their own judgment
Bro,
for humanity and things like that.
people don't think like, bro, Lucifer actually lives, like the devil actually exists, bro, literally. And people don't think, oh, you don't have to be scared of him, bro. You do have to be scared of him, bro. He's gonna rape you in half. But here's the thing, bro. Why do you think Lucifer, the devil, took 1/4 of angels in heaven, bro? Like, what do you think? Because he's dumb or something? No, bro. He convinced all of them because he's smart. He can manipulate you into anything, you know.
Truthfully, for me, I think it all boils down to why.
Yeah,
Why
but
did
and why?
you why
Bro,
do you want to be God? Why do you want people to worship you? Like, why do you want
yeah,
all
why
of
why
this?
why did you
What do
rebel? Like,
you
right.
possibly gain from having all of this? Because, as everyone
But he
knows,
knows.
once you have everything,
It's like
there is nothing more to gain. So it's like, what do you want? Because do you want people to blame you? I mean, we're already doing that and you're not in control. Do you want people to blame you for every little thing that happens, good or bad? Like,
no, it's like no. Here's the thing. It's something. Here's the thing. It's something good to ask that because, like, bro, if you could talk to him, just ask him that.
I don't want to
Why?
talk to them.
No, I don't want to talk to him either. But like, just saying, why will you do that? Even though you know, like, God can just snap His fingers and make you disappear anytime soon. You know. So like,
I
why are
think
you
it's
doing?
because
Why?
he knows that God won't do that, knowing that he can do that, but he won't. And so, of course, just like humans, he's taking advantage of that privilege.
Yeah. But I mean, knows more than us. He's been alive for like how many, 8 billion years? I don't know,
He doesn't
more than.
trust himself. I've read
Yeah,
one of the testimonies that I've watched. Apparently, the young man was able to have a conversation with the devil, very limited one, mind you, but he apparently he was able to have a conversation. And one thing that he had asked was if you are the king of lies, if you are the truly, like, as deceitful and as masterful in it as you say, how can you trust yourself? How can you trust what you're telling yourself to be the truth? Like, you're telling yourself you want to be God, you want this worship, you want all of this, but you can't explain to yourself why it is that you want all of this. So how can you trust that that's exactly what you want? And apparently Satan was honest and admitted that he can't trust himself.
But that's the thing. I really don't believe that because you're not gonna talk to Lucifer, bro. Come on, bro. You're not gonna talk to him,
Oh,
bro.
I
I
do
really
believe that
don't.
because, yeah, but see, that's the thing. To say that you can't talk to Lucifer is the same thing as saying you can't talk to God. You
But you
cannot believe
haven't,
in one. You cannot believe in one thing, and you cannot believe that you
bro.
have the
But that's the
ability to do
thing. You
one thing but
cannot,
not the other,
bro.
even though
Here's
it's
the
looked
thing.
down upon.
Here's the thing, bro.
Technically,
You
we
cannot
all have
also,
conversations with the devil every single day, and we just don't know it because we're
bro.
actively ignoring it.
Okay, but you're not gonna, bro. Like you gotta understand what's fake and good and like what's fake and real, bro. Okay. So if he could do that, why can't everybody just do that then, bro? Tell me why.
Because we're not supposed to. This was part of a near death experience. So this was like
Exactly.
part of the experience of not only getting a chance to talk to Jesus and God, but
But here's
also
the thing.
see the other side of the story.
But
I
here's the
don't know
thing.
why it was allowed, but who am I to say that it didn't happen?
That's the thing. You,
Just
bro.
because
That's the
I didn't, just because I can't have the conversation with them, or just because you can't have the conversation as we speak right now, does that automatically mean it's impossible?
no.
Even
Here's
if
the
it
thing.
doesn't
It's
mean if it's
because I
right,
really.
does that
It's
still
because,
mean
bro.
it's impossible?
It's because, bro. You gotta understand, bro. Like I don't care if he did talk to him. Good for him. Like good for him, bro. That's good for you. I don't care, bro.
Well, that was the
But like,
thing. He said that God was actually not pleased with him having that conversation, but still allowed it.
I mean, that's good for
Like, he
him.
made that
But because
he made sure to make that a very clear point before he went into the whole experience. He said that God, he already knew, and God told him, like, these conversations are not supposed to happen. Like, this is pretty much like a one and done thing. And
yeah, bro.
I think the only reason he allowed that is because it tied into the guy's um near death
Bro,
experience and the message that
let
he
me
was
tell you
meant to
something.
bring
Hold on,
back to us.
hold on. I gotta tell you something important. Do you think these people are like they're actually like crazy or something? Or they like no, I think I believe this, right? So here's the thing. Before my grandma, my dad side from his mom, right?
Yeah.
My mom and them they basically said that she had like somebody like an angel or something that talked to her about stuff that she needed to tell other people. So like right, so she and one basically right, and she talked to him every night she went by herself alone and talked to him, right?
Yeah.
And basically what they said, basically what they said, one time she died, one time she was gonna die, right? But she didn't die. She just she went and talked to God or something, and saw talked to him or something. And then but she was not dead yet, she was not dead yet. She was still she's because the angel told her that she was gonna do it, that's gonna happen, and she was not gonna die. She was not ready to die, but she was just gonna go and talk to her, right? And
Right.
that she was gonna move around. She was gonna tell everybody that she was still alive because she was gonna move. And apparently the guy that was ready to prepare her put something that killed her, and then she couldn't come back and she died there, right there.
I believe it.
Yeah,
Everyone assumes that you have to die in order to have these experiences. Like,
yeah.
God is God. You don't have to die in order for him to come to you. Like, in order for you to be able to go and experience anything on that
But here's the thing, he was
within
gonna
that
move.
realm.
But here's the thing, she was gonna move, but she didn't move on time. She was about to move. Apparently, that's what my mom told her because the angel told her all that before it happened, right? And apparently that
Mm-hmm.
was gonna happen. She was supposed to move, but she didn't move at that time. So the guy that was ready to cremate her, whatever, right? Uh, killed her. It was what do you say? Is it accidentally or like killed her before she actually woke up again? You know?
Yeah, that'd probably be an accident, unless, of
Yeah,
course, the doctor was intentionally doing it. That's I'd There would have to
yeah,
be more context about that. But from the sounds of it, it was just more of an accident, which in
yeah,
our terms it'd be an accident, but in the godly terms, it was most likely just another step in the plan for whatever God had for her.
yeah.
But I've heard that too. There have been testimonies where people have died like in the hospital due to some kind of um
Like this?
malpractice from the doctors,
Yeah,
but they still ended up coming back, and they ultimately learned that it's not really because of what the doctors did why they had that experience. They had that experience for a whole different reason, and it's just that what the doctors did were a part of it.
yeah,
Like there was a guy that spent 44 hours in heaven, I guess. So while he
yeah.
was spending 44 hours in heaven, his body down here was actually being mangled and stuff by the doctors. I guess the doctors ended up breaking his chest plate, crushing a bunch of ribs, punctured a couple organs, all trying to revive him and bring him back. But while all that was happening, he was spending time up in heaven having a conversation with Jesus and stuff.
Is he still alive? Like, did he come back and
Yeah, no,
still
he's
alive?
still alive. And he's been they've been coming out more with podcast interviews and stuff, and he's been telling more of his story because when I found him, like he was
Yeah,
telling
it's
his
like,
story,
bro,
but then I've seen other videos of him telling it, and in other videos he's telling more
bro,
details
yeah,
about certain things that I didn't hear
bro.
about when
Is
I saw the
is it like,
one that
bro?
introduced me to him. But yeah,
Here's the thing, bro. Is it like, isn't that weird? Because there's so much patterns. There's so much people saying that they got a chance to talk to God or something. They got a chance to talk to him and while they're like dead or something.
and that's how I know it's a fact that God exists. How does a
Yeah,
fact become a fact? The majority of people have to agree that something is what it is. If you take a bunch of
yeah.
people from different generations, different eras of time,
And they're not just gonna
different
make that up to like
backgrounds,
get
different
famous.
ethics, races, whatever, different environments and belief structures, how can you take so many different people from so many different aspects of life and yet they all at some point share the same type of what a non-believer would call phenomenon?
Yeah, because bro, I
How
have
can
a
you
question.
even people who weren't raised religious, who knew nothing of God or any gods or any religion or beliefs or anything like that, how can they have the same kind of experiences that people who are religious, people who do like
Look,
believe
look,
in God
because
and stuff like that, how can they have the same exact phenomenal um experience if it just wasn't a fact that is truth? If God
bro,
didn't
like
exist, people would not share on a non-physical level the same
here's the thing as well.
experiences with the same type of people.
Here's the thing as well, because bro, if they were actually lying, bro, that would actually be very bad. Because bro, God is actually would be very mad if these people are lying just to get famous or anything, you know.
That's what
So like,
apparently that's actually what has been the prevalent issue, I guess, in God's eyes is his church has not been doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're
yeah, like
living by
people,
man-made law instead of
yeah,
God-made law. And it's
yeah,
like they're only using God's law as an after effect for not
yeah.
following the man-made law. It's like if you don't do this, then you're breaking God's law. And if you break God's law, this is the consequence.
But they don't know because they're not God themselves, you know. So
Yeah,
like,
but and like God saying like no, like yeah, I
yeah,
have the laws, but you have twisted the laws to fit your own man-made desires and
yeah, your own description.
standards. So it's like even though you're using God's law, you're using it more as a weapon as opposed to a tool.
Yeah.
to help people. You're using it to hurt people.
Yeah,
And
to not to lie.
that's pretty much what we do with everything, but specifically with religion, Christianity and
Here's
stuff.
the thing. Here's the thing. And there's also something important I want to say that a lot of people don't know. People think that sinning is like that there's some certain stuff that you do that you sin and it's not bad. No, every sin is bad. Everything that you do that is sinning is bad. They're all big, you know. There's not one sin that's smaller than each other, you know, or one that's littler than each other. No, if you do something bad, that's sinning, you know. That's like sinning, right?
Yeah.
And you know that, and you're
Jesus said,
consciously knowing
Jesus said,
that
if
you're
you
doing
have hate
bad.
in your heart for your neighbors, even if you say you forgive them, if you harbor hate, then you pretty much are hate. Then you're not forgiving them. Or if you harbor hate but claim forgiveness, that is just as bad in his eyes as if you were to
And here's
murder
the
your
thing.
neighbor, murder
Here's the
someone.
thing. Here's the thing, and I know and I understand why they think that because I've gone myself, I've gone through those type of things, and I can't forgive like some people still, but I'm trying to forgive them. You know, it's like basically like, you know how like somebody did something to you, like they did something bad to you that caused you harm or something, you know,
Yeah.
and you know like you're trying to forgive them, but like you know that's like the it's like hard because like you have that anger still inside of you, you know.
Right.
So
That's the
yeah, it's
thing.
like basically
Maybe that's what we need to focus on, and that's the message we need to be spreading, is that
yeah,
sin does not have levels. Sin does not have layers. Sin is sin. The
yeah,
smallest sin is just as bad as the greatest sin, and the greatest sin is just as bad as the smallest sin. Sin
yeah,
is sin, and we need to understand and accept that we are going to sin, but it's not the gravity of that sin that we commit which
yeah. People
determines,
think.
whether we're worthy to be saved or not. It's being able to repent
Here's the
from
thing.
sin altogether.
Oh, I sin one little thing. Oh, God is gonna forgive that. God is gonna forget about that. No, He's not gonna forget about that. He
I don't
remembers
know.
everything. He
All of
sees
it,
all of
all
that.
of it adds up to the bigger picture in the end.
Yeah. Some people think that it's like that He's gonna forget about that. No, He's not gonna forget about that. Every sin is big. Every sin is big, and all sin is bad. Literally.
That's like a life of a criminal, right? Like they're
Yeah.
sitting in jail and they're wondering, well, how did I get here? Like, how did life end up so bad? And it's like you sit there and you think about it, and it's like one action led to another action, which led to another action, which led to another action, and eventually all those actions led up to one big
Also, like,
consequence or
and
one
also, why
big
do you
bigger
think?
picture.
Yeah, it's like basically just like right what you're saying, because you know how there's serial killers that kill like hundreds of people, like that
Yeah.
kill like a lot of people, you know, and then they think, oh, what I did was actually bad. It was actually wrong, you know. I should have never did that, you know.
Yeah.
And they start thinking that, that bro, I swear, bro, like they always think, and that's why, and that's a lot of people that did a lot of stuff, bro. God still forgives them, and God forgives everybody, you know. So you just have to turn into God, you know.
All right. Hold on. I gotta see something.
No.
Okay, I have something. I have.
Yeah, what
Maybe
happened?
this will help people understand. I feel like this might be a thing that could help. But and this is what God is saying. This is how God
Uh,
is telling us the message. But hold on.
the stream is delayed.
Okay, so this little glass, right? It's a cool little
Oh,
glass skull. It's a cup.
oh, I can't see. I can't see it. The thing is still okay. I see.
Okay, but
I see.
God says, imagine this is the human soul. This would be the human heart. You see how clear it is? You can see right through it. The
Hmm.
purest of the pure. as it stands right now. This is the purest of the pure in terms of humanity's soul, their heart. Every time we sin, no matter how great, no matter how small, every sin leaves a mark on a pure, transparent human soul. One sin. So you called your sister a mean name. There's
Yeah.
a sin. You say that you judge someone because you don't like the color of their hair. That's a sin. You take someone's life. That's a sin. You blasphemy against God, the most unforgivable sin. Hold on. Let me grab more rings. But
Bro, give me
you
some
say
rings.
you commit sin and blasphemy against God, right? Sin. Now what happens? That transparency, that purity becomes corrupted, and something that you once were able to see right through, you no longer can see through. And what God is trying to tell us is that we have to be aware and we have to maintain the purity of our souls and our hearts. And it's not necessarily the sin itself that is damning us, but
Hey,
it's
bro.
the act of doing the sin and then not seeking repentance and forgiveness for it.
Yo, bro.
All that does ultimately is it just ends up making it so that way
Yo, Solo, I have a
our
question.
hearts can no longer be seen by God. And once that happens, that is when we lose our connection to God, and that is when God is and then that's pretty much when God says, "I don't know you, depart from me." It's when we
Yo,
get to
Solo,
this
I have
point
a
in our
question.
life. But God is saying we have the opportunity through seeking Jesus to turn what was once hardened and non-transparent back to its original glory, pure
Yo, I have a
and,
question. I have a question. Okay, I have a question. I
transparent.
have a question. Wait, do you think that some of us might maybe reach that point already?
They'd be the lucky ones, but honestly, only God would be able to say that for sure. I could tell you because we get it all wrong. Like we see someone who lives a good life and we think they're a good person, but we don't know that. And
Yeah.
there's one testimony. I've only seen his one about it,
Bro,
but
I don't want to be the type of person that already reached that point, bro. Nah,
right.
bro.
But
Yeah.
apparently, from what this guy has said about his near-death experience, he was shown hell. There's one person, I guess, that a lot of people would be shocked to learn is in hell. I mean, there's
Yeah.
apparently he also did say that he saw another person, but he was more people were more accepting and probably able to see him going to hell. But the person he was talking about that would be surprising to everyone, I guess, being in hell, Pope John Paul II, I think is who it is.
Bro, wait, I don't think
But
he said a God didn't allow him to say the name.
huh?
Bro, I don't think God said. I think I watched that video too. I don't think God.
No, he
allowed
did
him.
because he also said that he said right next to him. And guys, this is not coming from me. This is coming from someone else's testimony, which I do
Oh,
believe.
I thought,
But
I thought God told him
he
that not
said
to
God, he said
say
Jesus
shit.
showed him when he was being shown hell. Jesus showed him a cell that had one man in it, and that man was Pope John Paul II, dressed
Who is that?
in his whole, holy garment, but he was sitting on a throne, and he was tied to the throne with golden chains and stuff, and he was on
Who is that?
fire.
Who is that guy? I forgot. I don't
Pope?
know. Yeah, my fault. I
He
don't know
was
who that.
a very, very, very popular, well-loved religious
And what's his
figure,
name?
Pope John Paul II. He
John Pope II.
yeah, he died in 2005. But
Oh,
according to
this
this
guy.
testimony that I've seen, he apparently is someone who's in hell. But on earth, he is a beloved figure. He is seen and well respected by pretty much everyone. And so it's like if that is the case, I can't say for sure whether or not it's true because, of course, I'm not the one that had the experience. But if this is but I do believe it was a divine intervention in this man's life, and what he was shown was reality.
Boy.
Whether it was a reality meant for everyone or a reality meant for him, I'm not entirely sure. But I can take away from that
Is it just
it
me?
doesn't matter if we think we're good people or if you think I'm a good person or if I think you're a good person. Ultimately, it's not up to us, it's up to him. And just because we're seen as good people in this life doesn't necessarily mean that we are good people.
I'm not trying to say anything, bro. But I can see in this guy's eyes that he's hiding something. I don't know if it's just me. I can
Who?
just see
What are you
like through
watching?
his picture. I'm just seeing the picture of him right now. I can just see like if that's true. Honestly, but do you like? But that's the thing. You can. I don't know. Like I don't want to get confused and then like get confused and know that God could get mad at me because that's could not be true. You know.
But it is true, and that's why people want to turn away from God, because they don't want to believe that the same God that sits here and claims that he loves us and will give us eternal paradise can also turn around in the same instant
No, I'm
and
saying I'm not talking.
send us to a freaking
I'm talking
place of
about.
eternal agony and suffering.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about. I don't want to get the. I don't want to believe the wrong people, and then God will be mad at me because I believe the wrong people. You know.
That's why I feel like it's the best thing you can do is just take everything with a grain of salt. Like, even if they are trustworthy, simply to be safe, you don't want to take absolutely everything that they say like to heart.
Yo, what do you think about the Pope that just died? Like the Pope.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't really know much about Pope life and like the Vatican and all that. I don't know much about that.
Wait, but he saw him stripped in chains and stuff like that.
Yeah, apparently he was shown while he was being shown the tour of hell, because of course he was also shown where he was going to end up if he, didn't change, but he was shown different cells throughout the tour, and I guess that one, and then
Wait, he was
I'll just say
basically
the other
saying,
one. Apparently, he saw the Pope and Michael Jackson next to each other. Michael Jackson apparently was on a stage. Of course, he was on fire, but he was on a stage dancing, and he couldn't stop dancing. And every time that he stopped dancing, the demons would, do their thing to him, attack him, all that, and then it would just reset, and he would be back to being on fire and dancing.
"Oh my God, oh
That
that
was
sounds
that was what he
hard."
said about Michael Jackson, and he said, and that was right after he had said that
Oh
he was
God.
shown Pope John Paul II sitting on a throne covered in gold and pretty much being tied down to the throne
Oh
with
God.
gold and like
So
everything else on fire.
they were basically getting mocked by the demons and the devil.
Yes, they were, but
My
I think
yo
even though
no.
it's not my place to, try to understand that or think about that things, but if I'm going to, I think the reason that they ended up there, not because necessarily they were bad people, but because they did they pretty much did what God keeps trying to tell us to stop doing. They're doing things with good intentions, or they're executing good intentions with the wrong action.
Bro, nah, I feel scared, bro. That's nah, bro. I don't want that to happen to me, bro. Like, damn,
We
bro.
don't either, but that's the thing. We're not that I think that's why God doesn't want us to try to
That's
understand him,
scary,
because
bro.
to
Like,
understand him would also mean that we would have to understand, we would have to experience, we would have to know everything
yeah,
that there is to
I
know
never
when it comes
thought,
to like a place like hell. Like you would have to
yeah,
know what the whole purpose of hell is, what
bro.
it
I
was
don't want to get
for,
mocked. I
more
don't want to
than
get
just
mocked and
God's way
scared.
of, being a punishment for Lucifer and his followers. Because
Yeah, bro.
we humans were never meant to go to hell. That is not what God had for us. That is not why hell was intended. But God did make that, he did make that not
Bro.
decision. I don't even want to call it a law, but he made
This guy
that
was born in
choice that if we
1920.
don't choose him, we are automatically choosing Satan. And because he created this place for Satan, ultimately that means that if we don't end up with God, we have nowhere else to go in the universe except to hell. And
Bro,
God
this
doesn't
guy,
want that. I
yo,
sure as
John,
heck don't want that. I don't want that for me.
yo,
I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. Like, I'm trying
yeah,
to make this life better
that's
because
scary, bro.
I
Nah,
want a piece of
I
what
don't want.
God is offering me in eternal paradise. I want to experience a piece of that now. But ultimately, if God is saying, like, that is like trying to experience what I'm offering you in the next life, if you striving and only working to do that in this life, if that's all you care about, then you're never going to get it, because that is not why I'm doing
Yeah,
any
because
of
bro,
this.
I don't wanna spend my eternity life in freaking hell, suffering, getting mocked by demons, bro. Like what? Hell no. No, I don't wanna do that, bro.
I don't either. And that's why
It's like
it doesn't
scary,
scare
bro.
me. It doesn't scare me to talk about believing in God. It doesn't
Yeah,
scare me to talk about Christianity or
yeah.
anything.
It
The
doesn't freak
worst
me. Like
thing that
I'm
can
just
happen is
not.
I lose my life. But after that point, there's nothing else for me to lose
Yeah, there's
in
nothing
terms
because
of, earthly um standards. But at the same time,
yeah.
if losing my life because of what I believe is what it comes down to, then is this life, this earthly life, even worth it?
No, bro, I'd rather lose my life and believe in God. I'd rather lose my life and believe in Him. I'm just gonna say it, bro. That's like the bro. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to believe, bro.
Yeah,
Like
personally, that's why I said, like, I want to give up my free will. Like, using
yeah,
my free will, giving up my free will is me actively using my free will.
bro. Here's
And
the
even
thing.
though
I know.
everybody else might see it as, oh, if you give up your free will, then technically you don't have free will. But no, that is me exercising my free will.
Bro, here's the
Me
thing.
giving up
I
my free
wanna.
will is me using my free will.
Here's the thing. I want God to talk to me to send me a message. Not send, like I want Him to talk to me so I know I made it. I made it to His hands, you know. And I know I'm not. I don't. I know I'm not like seen by Him as something like he's that's doing bad things, you know. Like I want Him to like right now or something to show me a message or something that I'm in His hands, you know. Like I'm not doing something bad that's making me look evil or anything, you know.
Yeah. I want to, my thing is, I want God to take away my free will, using my free will to do his work, and because I don't want to struggle through the hardships of life, I want to go through the hardships of spirituality, because there is a spiritual war not seen by the naked eye currently going on as we speak. I want
That
to
thing never
be
like
I want to be a
yeah.
part of that. I want to be a warrior. But I feel like me being focused on the hardships of this life prevents me from focusing on the more important hardships of the spiritual, we'll call it
And
spiritual
right, bro.
realm.
Bro, and it's okay to be scared, right? Like, there's nothing wrong to be scared about that, you know? Like, there's nothing bad to be scared about anything, right, Solo? Like, there's nothing bad to be scared about that.
Only losing God.
Yeah,
That's
like,
that's the only thing I'm terrified of. I'm terrified of being turned away because I failed to do the right thing because I didn't know what that right thing was.
yeah, literally, bro. I don't wanna.
But it's like the way that I phrase it, it makes it seem so.
Like, you're not afraid of
No, it
something.
makes it seem like it's so surface level. Like I'm talking about doing the right thing as in doing good works and stuff. And I don't mean that. I mean being righteous, living a righteous life, a godly life.
It
I
seems
don't
like
want
you
to
don't
be
have
wrong
mental any
in
soul.
doing that. But at the same time, I don't know how to do that. And I would find it so much easier, if God just, you know, made it crystal clear, like I created you because you are going to do this. I'm not gonna fight whatever plan he has for me. Like, Because they say that following
Honestly,
him, you have to lose everything. Honestly, I don't see it as losing everything. I wouldn't have a problem with getting up right now and walking out that door and going into the wilderness to freaking fast for 40 days if God straight up tells me that's what I want you and I need you to do. Like,
yeah.
I feel like I would not have a problem doing anything that God wanted me to do as long as I knew for certain that God wanted me to do it.
Or yeah,
Because if you read like the
or
prophets and
you will use
stuff, a
like
lot of them
your own
they
family,
say
or
how
you will.
they even after like their experience with God, even after their interaction with him, they still
Yeah,
would fight it. Like God would
you will
say, "I
use
want
like.
you to spread my word. I want you to go out and tell people this." And people have been honest and they're like, "Yeah, he told me that." And like for a long time after that, I still ignored it. Like I just couldn't see myself being that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
but
bro.
God
Like
is literally giving you the
oh,
easiest task
bro.
in the whole world. It's only
No,
hard
no.
because you're too focused on the other tasks that you think are important. But God is literally
Bro,
telling you this is the only thing that's important, so go and do it. I feel like that would make my
honestly,
life
like
so much
how,
simpler. I
bro,
would not
how,
be thinking or worrying about absolutely anything if God told me exactly what he wanted from me in terms of my part with the rest of the world. Not my part, for life itself, but my part in terms of interacting with life around me. I feel like if God just came down and said, you know what, Malachi, this is what you have to do, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do it. I know it's going to be
I,
hard. I know I'm going to be
I don't
uncomfortable,
care,
but I don't care.
bro.
If this is what you want me to do, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now. Unless, of course, you don't want me to do it right now, then, of course, I'll do it when you're ready for me to
Yeah,
do it. But I am ready to do whatever God wants me to do, no matter how hard it is, because I feel like that will make my life simpler.
mm,
I can't
yeah,
speak for a lot of people, but I feel like it would make life simpler for everyone, whether or not you were a believer or not. It would make life simpler if God just came down and like told us individually, like, do this, do that. I want you to do this. I want you to do that specifically.
I don't care, honestly, bro. If God tell me like go in a boat and stay in the ocean for like a month, bro, I'll do that. I don't care.
Yeah, but at the same time I feel guilty and I feel wrong for wanting this.
Yeah, like bro, but that's what I'm saying, bro.
So
It's
it's
like you're
like
asking. It's like you're
how
asking.
do I do that? How do I go about
It's like you're asking too much, and like at the same time, it's like I don't know. It feels like you're asking too much, and like you want, bro. You just want the truth, you know. Like you just want like the path, the right path to lead, you know, the right
yeah.
path to follow.
Because
Like I
God
know how
says
you
that
feel.
people won't, because God already says, like, people won't believe you. Like, there are going to be people who don't believe you. So if he knows this, then why is it so imperative that he can't just come down whenever we ask for it? Why can't he just come down and tell us directly what he wants from us individually? Because we already know what he wants from us as a whole, and we already know what we have to do individually, to achieve what he sees us doing as a whole. But personally, I think that our task as individuals vary. Like we don't all have the same task in
Yeah,
order to um complete or move on to the next step of God's plan.
yeah, literally, like bro.
And like
I just want the right path to follow, you know.
I know, and that's why that's what's been adding to the confusion as of late because it's not even just the testimonies, but there are people coming out. There are Christians, non Christians, but there are enough people coming out saying that God has been revealing that he is upset with his church because they have pretty much fallen off the patch of righteousness. And one of the things that is kind of essential
But yeah, look,
to
let me tell you something.
staying concrete in your belief is, being part of a church. But it's like, how do I find a church that's true in its nature and that's not just,
Yeah,
going through the motions? Like,
because
how
you
do I
never
know
said
that
they're
this
just.
church is actually full of true people who are not only believing in the word, but applying the word and actively doing what they can to obey the
Yeah, because
word.
you never know if they're just using the word of God just to use it for their own goods, for their own
Right. And
benefits.
it's like, and then that ties it into my other confusion. It's like, well, I've been feeling this pull to get more
And what's
active
the
within the church life, but with this being the prevalent issue that the church is not doing what it's supposed to do,
bro? And
if
tell
I
me
find a
this.
church, does that mean that like I'm supposed to, is
And
it
tell
my
me this.
job to
What's
try to
the
like try to fix the church from within, break down the walls that the church has built and rebuild God's church the way that it's meant to be
and tell me
built and
this. Tell me
stuff?
what's the
Or
concept? The concept. Tell me this. Why, bro? Have you seen like some churches have been burned? Like they gone
yeah,
on fire.
Nigeria. Nigeria
You think
right
those are
now is the
God?
worst place to be a Christian in. Everyone's getting persecuted. Everyone's getting
No,
destroyed in Nigeria
no. I'm not talking
right
about. I'm not
now.
talking about. I'm not talking about Nigeria as well. Other countries, like their churches, have gone in flames out of nowhere. Like they burn. Do you think that's God like rebelling against
Yes.
them?
Not
Yeah, I
rebelling
think
against
that's
them.
God
That's God.
too.
That's God correcting
Oh,
human
no, no, no,
error.
no, my fault, my fault, my fault. I made a mistake. But yeah, that's God correcting them, bro. That's what I'm saying.
It's God correcting human error.
That's God Himself burning the churches. Yeah, burning the churches. And here's the thing: the only thing that's standing up is the cross. That's the only thing that's not burned. Have you seen that, bro?
No, I have not. I have not seen any footages, but I've heard the stories. I've read the articles of this whole thing happening. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
said like right now Nigeria is like the most media mainstream spot where this is happening. Like
yeah,
the churches are being destroyed, people are being killed, pastors and stuff are, being exiled or all that stuff. Just straight up persecution. Nigeria is like one very obvious place that's happening right now that everybody knows about, and it's showing like just how bad it is or just how
yeah.
bad
Because,
it's getting.
bro, honestly, like you never know. Like right now, us are speaking. The world could like the time for him to judge could happen. Like
Yeah,
right now, at this moment, like the world could be ending right now. Could just start ending, and like, bro, like you never know. Like, boy, like it's like it's not scary, but it is scary. Like you have to know it's sometimes scary because you
because you can't
like
have
you
good without bad. You can't have.
yeah, yeah, literally, like, bro, like you never know the word. Like you could wake up, you can maybe be in your dreams and die or something, and you never know that the war ended or like or something like that.
And so you gotta live your days like it's the last day. And if you
That's what I'm
want,
saying.
and everybody wants to have a good last day on Earth, so they're gonna do as much good things as possible.
Yeah, but he said he's gonna give a sign, like the whole entire ocean is gonna turn blood or something, like red or something. The sea is gonna turn red or something. That's what he said. The sea is gonna turn red and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So like when that happens, I know it's over, bro.
I think this is all just like, yeah, this is God just correcting an error, and I think this is actually a more modern version of the story of what happened. I can't remember the dude's name, Uzziah, I think his name was, but
Yeah.
there's a story, I think in the Old Testament, where the people were moving the ark, the covenant, the ark of God, and God had said, God had put given specific instructions on how they were to transport this ark, and the people just ignored it. They decided they were going to use their own methods to transport it, and when when they were traveling and transporting it, something happened and the ark almost fell off of their cart. And with good intentions, one of the men there that were transporting the ark put his hand on the ark, and pretty much he ceased to exist right there on the spot in front of everybody. And
What?
people
What
think that it
happened?
was God. People think that it was God being harsh and like killing him because he disobeyed God telling them not to do
Wait, what?
something. But
He disappeared?
realistically, it was cosmic justice. It was
But he
cosmic
disappeared or
consequence.
die? What happened? He disappeared or what?
Practically the same thing. Death disappeared. He just ceased to exist right there on the spot.
Wait, that's true.
Yeah.
The one was it like back then, like when they were making
This
the
was
like.
during. This was either. Yeah, I think this was during the time of Moses in the Ten Commandments, or it was within the 200 years after Moses. It was somewhere. I think it was
Yeah.
somewhere within that time frame when it
Wait,
happened.
but why? But here's what I don't tell myself. But he talked to everybody back then. Why can he not talk to us
Actually,
now?
no.
Like,
That was the
what is the
problem.
difference?
He didn't talk to everyone back then, and the Bible really points out who he really spoke to.
No, but he spoke. He spoke to like a lot of people. A lot of people saw him in like they saw him, and they saw the true like person and stuff like that. They didn't see like himself, but they saw like the true God that was right in front of them, speaking to them, telling them everything. And it's like,
People back then, it makes sense because people back then were more connected to each other
yeah,
and
that's what I'm
to
saying, bro. That's what
uh
I'm saying, bro. Bro,
nature.
if that's what I'm saying, if he appears now, like people are gonna like 100% of people are gonna ignore him.
Yeah. And
That's
then
what I'm saying,
also
bro.
there's the whole thing with the division of religion and stuff. Like the progression of all these little things um over the years ultimately has played a part in our disconnection or our inability to fully connect with God on, that spiritual level. It's because of
Yeah,
all of these little things that have developed over time, such as technology, religion, um, status, you know, social
yeah,
status, things like that. It's the development of all these things ultimately that make up the bigger picture of the disconnect that humanity has towards God. Back then, they didn't have cell phones and stuff. Like if you had a problem with someone, the only way to hash that problem out is to go and deal with that person face to face. Like
yeah,
the
literally.
emotions were real, like the conversations were real, the interaction between one human and another was real. We don't have that now because now that we've found a way to communicate distance, that also allowed us to communicate our messages more vaguely.
Yeah,
Because when you're in front of someone, when you're having a face-to-face conversation, you feel more inclined to sharing every little detail. That way they know and you can gauge their reaction and their understanding of what you're talking about. But when it comes to things like technology, if you want to send a message to someone, because of how quickly you're able to do it, you feel more inclined to just summarize your message as opposed to giving very
yeah.
every detail that you
I
feel
have to say
would
something.
help make the understanding of your message that much clearer. So
I
we
have
become lazy also in that term
You're
or in
right.
that way.
I have to say something. This is off topic, bro. Tell me why, like your thumbnails, you look like Death Note, bro. Bro, you seen that show
The
before?
uh the ones where it's open, the words, or like where I'm
No,
holding the
like
Bible and stuff.
yeah, when you're holding the Bible. It's off topic. It's not. But yeah, it looks like you're. It's like looks like Death Note. You know Death Note?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks like that. But yeah, yeah, you're right, bro. Literally, you're right. Like, bro, there's so much thing that's questionable. There's so much things in this world
There
that's
are
questionable.
things that are questionable, but at the same time, there are a lot of things in the Bible that
The answer's right in front of you.
are the
That's
same. They're the same situations with the same results. The only difference is the time period in which it takes place. And
yeah,
it's that difference in the time period that actually differentiates like the whole thing. Like, cause like I
yeah,
said back then, if you had a problem with someone, you had to go to them to work it out. But nowadays, if you have a problem with someone, you can just write a message and the whole world can see it. And now the whole world knows that you have a problem, but that's not actively fixing the problem. So you still
But
have the
I have a
problem,
question.
but now instead of it just being a you problem, it's become an everybody problem. You couldn't do that
Wait,
back then.
and I have a question,
Or at least you couldn't do
bro.
that so easily.
And I have a question somewhere, bro. Bro, what I find is weird, and I don't find it's true, bro. Do you think that humanity actually has landed in the moon before? Right?
Landed on the moon? Yes.
God gave us power. Did God give us the power to land there? Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but okay, okay. But what?
Anything
But
through
he knows.
God is
But he knows.
possible.
But he knows. But he knows that could hurt us, and we could like something could happen to people going out there. You know, because there's nothingness. Like there's
He
nothing
knows
out there.
this, but he also knows how stubborn we are, and we know that that's not going to be that clearly that's not going to be enough to stop us. Because I mean, look at the Apollo
Yeah.
13. Look at that whole mission. Or what was the other one?
Oh. Oh, I have to tell you this. I have to tell you this. Okay. Okay. I have to tell you this,
I think
bro.
there was another one. I think it might have been before Apollo 13, but the spaceship literally exploded
Hmm.
mid-flight, and like
I have to tell
it
you this.
was broadcast around the world, and people that were kids that were in freaking preschool,
School.
elementary when it
Oh yeah,
happened,
my teacher saw
they
that. My
still remember
teacher.
it as if it was yesterday.
My
And they're
teacher
like
saw
in
that.
their 60s, 70s, 80s, you know.
Yeah, my teacher saw that, bro. My teacher saw that thing explode because she was in elementary still. She told me about that.
Yeah, so honestly, I think it doesn't really matter if God necessarily allows it or doesn't allow it. He knows that we're going to do what we're going to do because
Okay,
of
here's the thing.
who we are.
I have something to say, bro. This is actually very interesting. You're probably gonna like get interesting, bro. They say I don't know if they say in the Bible says, but or something, but they say that God, there's other creations of God somewhere out there in out of space, in another planet and something, you know?
That's where it's twisted. It's not that there's
Yeah.
other gods, it's that there are other
No, not other
universes and
gods.
stuff. God
Not other.
created multiple universes and multiple
No, I'm
planets
talking
and
about other
stuff within
creations.
those universes.
I'm talking about creations, not God. That's the thing. Creations, other creations.
If it did, it would have to be out of one of the books that they removed from the Bible because there
Yeah,
is not in
bro.
the Bible itself does not have anything saying that there is any other type of creation out there other than God.
Yeah.
Even if it says that there are other universes and stuff, it still points to the fact that God was the one that created all of it.
Wait, what happens with the three stones that are missing? What happened with the three stones that were missing? What happened with those? Like, aren't they inside of the golden thing?
Uh, I have
You know?
no idea.
Yeah. Still, like, there's still other sides of the Bible, like three other more that are missing.
They've
Three
they've
other
they've
pages.
taken stories out of the book. Like there's the Book of Enoch. I think
But
that's
that's
its
a scam,
own
bro. Bro, why are these people doing that? Like, come on, bro.
because they want something designed for everybody to fit their narrative. The same way religion
But
was
that's not how it
created.
is.
Like
That's not how.
you can't have religion itself without first the belief in a higher power in God, and it's from that belief in a single higher power where you become inspired or whatever it is to
Yeah.
start believing that that single God or that single higher power might be able to break off into separate higher powers which will control, certain things here on earth. But ultimately,
Yeah.
I feel like you cannot have religion at all if you do not accept the
Yeah.
first fundamental truth that there is a higher power.
Yeah. Like, if you don't accept it, then
And anyway, I
there's
feel like,
no-
not for nothing, but that seems like it'd be confusing. It's already confusing enough trying to, figure out one God. Now you got people saying that there are multiple gods. That means there are multiple different entities that you have to learn, you have to memorize, you have to
yeah.
remember
That
and know,
bro.
like, they do this, they do that. If you make them angry, this happens. If you make them
Bro,
them
how
angry,
can it
that's
be?
gonna
That's
happen.
the thing.
That's like so much more confusing than the confusion that comes with just one God.
That's when you know. That's when you know it's just a lie. Because, bro, how is there different gods with the same power? Like, what? Doesn't make any sense.
And you want
Or
to know, you
higher
want to know
power.
this, I know this, I mean no disrespect, truthfully,
Yeah.
but can anyone who has a religion, who believes in a religion outside of Christianity, can any of you bring evidence that what is in your religion applies to humanity as a whole, as opposed to that specific group of people following that religion?
Wait, be careful what you say, okay, on YouTube, so you don't get banned.
I know. Well, that's why I said I'm not, and I've already made
Yeah.
it clear when I started this channel. This is supposed to be an opening. People are supposed to be able to discuss this, have even if they have different opinions,
Yeah,
we
because
should still be able to have
try to
this
block us.
discussion without people losing their mind. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
it is
because
just
people
a
like, bro,
discussion. And if you can't
try
even
to
have a
control us.
discussion about something, then there is much more wrong with the picture than
No,
you are
honestly,
trying to
like,
convince
I
yourself.
never, I never really like talk to anybody who is not a Christian or who's not anything else. Like, I would really want to like ask them questions and stuff like that and to see,
The only
like,
reason I haven't is because I don't know anybody. I don't personally know
yeah,
anybody who
that's what I'm saying. I don't know
follows
anybody
anything
either.
other than Christianity. If they and the people I know that don't follow Christianity, they just don't believe in anything. So that's pretty
Saying,
much my whole thing. Like I know Christians and I know atheists. I haven't
yeah,
personally met anyone that believes or follows Islam or Hindu or Buddha or whatever these other religions are. Now, I would love to meet someone like that. I would love to have a
yeah,
conversation and nitpick their brain and see why they specifically believe what they believe. Because I feel like a lot of
yeah,
people only believe because other people believe.
yeah. Like
But it's the ones that truly believe
that's
because of themselves and for themselves, they're the ones that can actually differentiate between the truth and the deception that we all have and create within ourselves and within our um interaction with life.
yeah.
But truthfully, like I said, it's not to be offensive or anything, but
The-
do any of these other religions have evidence that supports the inclusion of humanity as a whole, not just um not just that specific group of people? Like I know a lot
Yeah,
of
because
people will
like I
argue,
have
"Oh,
like
Christianity is only
I
for
have
Christians," but
I have like
the
hundreds and
the
thousands of
guideline, the
questions.
guidebook for Christianity says that it's not for Christians alone. It is for everyone, but specifically Christians specifically are expected to follow this. Like to a
And here's the
T,
thing.
no questions asked, nothing. You are expected to follow this, but this is made for everyone. Is there, and honestly, I'm asking this for myself because I haven't done the research, so I don't know, but is there any other religion that is as inclusive or as exclusive as Christianity? I don't feel like there is. Like I feel like you can like people who follow Islam, I don't feel like they will really see you as someone as a believer in Islam unless like you fall into the categories that they see fit, So like
Wait, isn't
if you're
it
not from
Catholic
the
like
Middle
isn't it
East, if you
what about
don't
Catholic? What about Catholic? Isn't it like a version of it but mixed but
yeah,
different?
when it comes to Christianity, the deviations like the Protestant, the Mormon, Catholic, those are all they all still believe in the same things. The only difference is the it's the belief in who the Messiah was,
Yeah, who's the
who the most
Messiah?
prominent figure within this history is. I think that's pretty much the biggest divination between all of these religions that fall within the umbrella of Christianity. It's just
Honestly,
they think that things might have happened a little differently in
but here's
terms
the thing.
of the Son of God.
Honestly, but here's the thing. People honestly they don't even know like they just see honestly they just follow the rule of their country. That's the only reason why they believe in those type of things because you know how everybody in their country it does the same thing and they believe so they have to follow the same rule or they will look like the outcast, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what people don't that's what people have to understand. don't follow what other people follow. The truth, the truth. If you know that's not truth, and you still know that's not truth, but you still follow it, then just like, I don't know,
And I don't know, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Christianity is the only religion that outright says, hey, like doing this, you're going to be seen as different. Like you're going to be treated different. Like this makes you
Here's the thing,
different, but
people,
that's okay.
why
Like
people
the rest
see.
of these religions point out, like, if you're different, that's bad. But
Here's the thing.
Christianity says you are going to be different because of this. But that is a good thing. Because if you can endure this, you deserve everything that I have to offer later on down the road.
Here's the thing.
So people don't want to be different. They don't want to feel different. They don't want to be cast out away from everyone else. So if the easiest way is to just pretend and say that you agree with someone, you're gonna do it.
And here's the thing. This is why people are freaking. Okay, sorry. This is why people don't like. This is why people like. What you call it? This is why people like think creation from other religion. This is why people like don't believe in my opinion, this is why they don't believe in Christianity, because it sounds too good to believe. And that's
Yeah,
the
and they
problem.
say, yeah, I know, and they say if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. But I
Yeah.
think Christianity, that's the thing. I think Christianity as a whole looks and sounds too good to be true, but there is enough evidence of the suffering that comes along with it
Yeah.
that says
Bro,
otherwise.
look, here's the thing. Just look around you. Look around you. Look around you. You see the truth. You will know the truth. Just look around you, honestly. That's how easy it is. Look around you. Look everywhere and around the world what's happening right now. Just look around you. Why do you think those things happens to you? Why do you think those happens to your friend or family? For a reason, like, just look, right?
Right. We're all
Not that hard.
blind, and as soon as we open our eyes, we will see the world
Yeah.
for what it is. And those that have had their eyes opened have they have admitted that their perspective on life is no longer the same, and not just like in the way that they see life, but their
Yeah.
actual perspective, like the the light, the lights, the darks, the colors of
Bro, you know how many
world. They're
people
all
from
different.
you know how many people from other religions they turn into Christians? Like, I think that happens, right?
That's what I was talking about how can so many different people from different backgrounds, religions, all that, how can they all experience the same thing if that thing that they're experiencing were not true? How can you have people
Yeah.
who believe in Islam? How can you have them die and come back and just like that abandon everything that they believed in if there was not truth in what they are essentially giving up in order to follow and believe in? Like, how can that not be the case if it's happened to so many people?
Yeah, literally, like, bro.
And it's not like these people are coming back and being like, oh yeah, like I've decided to switch my faith now. Everything's all hunky dory. Like, no, they come back and they make it known. They're like, yeah, I know, and I was specifically told that
Oh,
all this, what we would consider suffering, losing family, friends, being outcasted, persecuted, like we are being told this, like I'm being told that this is going to happen.
you want to see something good? I have. Look at this, bro. You
But
might like
this also comes, I also have another question. What other religion has as many eyewitness testimonies to back it up? And I don't mean just within the community of believers in that religion, but as a whole. How many
Look,
how many viable how much viable evidence is there that doesn't just pertain to those who believe, but pertain to life as a whole?
I'm about to send you something right now on your phone, a message.
I could tell you
Look,
the
check
Bible
this
does
out.
that.
Look, check this out. But I send you something on message. It's like one of the things I have is very beautiful.
And I think what people don't understand and why people turn away from the Bible is because the Bible, if we remove God from the equation. The Bible is simply a recording throughout humans' history of the most vile things that we have done as humans to ourselves and to life itself. Like the Bible is pretty much just a recording of all of that if we were to remove God. God is what
It's true.
makes humanity good. God is what makes everything that happens, good or bad.
Yeah.
He is the
So
one
remember,
that decides and pretty much makes it so.
remember what I told you last time about the Bible? That the Bible is not a book that you can just read. It's not another book to read. You know what
Yeah,
I told
no,
you about?
it's not.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you're gonna read it, and I mean it's not wrong if you do it, but at some point you do have to start reading it from a spiritual level as opposed to reading it as just
Yeah.
another book written by another person. Because ultimately, this book is not written by one person, and it's not written within one time frame. The
It's
Bible
written by
is
millions.
is told from multiple perspectives, from different eras of time,
Generations and millions. Yeah.
but yet they're all still managing to stay consistent in the overall message, which
Yeah.
the
And
overall
how?
message is there is nothing in this life without Jesus Christ. There is no life itself without God. That is like
Yes.
the overall message. And I
There's
feel like
nothing.
if we accept that, if we all as a whole can accept that, life will become infinitely better and much easier. Not saying it's going to eliminate the hardships and stuff, but those hardships aren't going to seem as hard. They're just going to seem like another Tuesday, you know?
Yo,
It's just like when you go through so much bad things in life that you become emotionally numb to it, that when it happens again, you really can't react because to you it's just another day. Like
yo.
that's how we need humanity to get in terms of God.
I
We
send
need to
you.
treat God as if us being with him and us living our life for him is just another day. Like we don't need to really understand why this has to happen in order for this to happen, or you know why we don't have to do this if we want this. Like we don't have to worry about any of that, truthfully. The only thing we have to worry about is loving each other, really loving each other, and loving and
Having
worshiping
faith.
God.
Having faith. Yeah.
Yeah, that is literally our only tasks as humans. If we can simplify our lives down to just that, we will be so much better off. I guarantee you that alone will eradicate so many things like racism, segregation, freaking
Bro, and here's the
superiority.
thing. Here's the thing. Who created all of these? Who created all of these things? Who created all
God.
those? No,
Unless you
us.
can, and that's the thing.
No, us.
People can
We created.
argue people can argue there's no God, but do you have proof that anything exists without God?
No, no. This is
Can
what I'm
you
trying to
prove
say.
that can you prove that anything that we have on this earth in this life doesn't come from God? I think one thing you could argue, but it's not even really an argument. The only thing humans have the ability to create is other humans. We don't have the ability to just snap our fingers and
I mean,
say
God
$1
did.
million appear in our hand, or we don't have the ability to snap our fingers and the rain goes away and the sunshine comes out. We don't have that ability. We are able to create other humans. That is
Who,
the limit
bro?
of our abilities. And so to assume that there isn't something else out there is kind of idiotic because that doesn't explain everything that goes on in this world. There being a God is the explanation for why everything is as it is. We may feel like we have to understand it, but we don't. We just have to know and accept that that's what it is. You don't exist. I don't exist. This monitor doesn't exist. Sound doesn't exist. Light doesn't exist. Air doesn't exist. Nothing exists without God. And if you are able to accept that there are gods, but you want that to be in multiple fashion, I feel like that in and of itself isn't wrong. It's just misplaced guidance or misplaced faith. Because the fact that you actually believe there's a higher power means that you've accepted that humans are not the ones in control. Your misjudgment or misdirection falls in your desire for there to be multiple people. Because for some reason I think people feel like one individual can't be responsible for a multitude of positive things that happen in this on this earth, but yet within our own human history we have proven time and time again that one person, and solely one person, can be responsible for all the positive benefits or positive things that happen in life, and for the long-term endurement of the human race.
Yeah.
Like, we have proven within ourselves one person is capable. So how can we accept that, but we can't accept that one person may be responsible for all of this?
Yeah,
'Cause
literally.
I don't know about you guys, but if I had a choice, one person who knows all the answers versus 75 people who know all the answers, why would I want to go to 75 different people to hear the same exact answer when I can go to one person and hear the same exact answer?
Yeah.
Like, what sense does that make? And that is like the
Just
mindset
because
of the world
because it's
itself.
one person doesn't mean that he doesn't mean, oh, you can't believe him because it's all based on his own facts. No, it's not like that.
Right, but if his facts have been known to come true after he said them, how can you
Yeah.
not believe him? But then you go and you go and those 75 people that have the same answer as him, you go and ask them, but what they say ends up varying from what actually happens. Then how do you know who to trust? Are you really
Always gonna
can
be
you really
one.
say that you can trust those 75 people that have the same answer, even though that answer differs from the actual result that occurs, versus the one person who, yeah, you may doubt, but whenever they do say something, that thing that they say comes true. After a certain amount of time, you're gonna feel obligated to only go to one or the other, as opposed to going back and forth to see who is right and who is wrong. Eventually, you're gonna choose the one that seems to have the most evidence supporting what they say. And from a general perspective, Christianity is the only religion that has physical evidence for everyone to see and know about. The rest of the religions only pertain to those who follow them.
Yeah.
So, like, for Christianities, with it being one God, when it comes to seeing signs from God, it is easier for us to decipher those signs and know that they come from God. It's a lot easier than knowing or thinking that there are hundreds of other gods. Now you have to sit there and decipher, well, is this sign from this God or is it from this God? And if it is from this God and not this God, how do I get the sign from this God and not this God? Like, it just becomes so confusing and so stressful, because ultimately it just leads to disappointment. And even with the people that have died that have followed other religions, came back, converting to Christianity, even the one thing they've made known is, like, yeah, I went to the other side fully believing that my religion was the right religion, but when I got there, there was nothing. There was not a greeting, there was not a scolding, there was not even a look, there was nothing. But yet they all come back and say the same thing, that they did meet a God, and it is a one God, and it's the God of Christianity. I'm sorry, but when you are dead, you are dead. Your brain cannot send you signals, cannot send you images to your mind to trick you. When you are dead, you are dead. So anything that you see after you are dead is not from this realm. It's not from Earth.
The finals.
And the people that try to sit there and explain away all these near-death experiences and like the messages that people bring back from the other side, oh, that's just brain activity at the last second firing off and putting all these images in your head and, you know, trying to calm you down. How is that possible? Dead means dead. Dead means non-alive. So if you are considered dead, and legally you have to be considered dead for 3 minutes, that's it. 3 minutes and you're considered dead. So how can people have the experiences they have, come back and share their message if they were dead? So either these doctors that want to claim that it's just brain activity, you know, doing its last ditch effort, they can argue that, but yet they still have no evidence or no explanation for how that person, even though they were dead,
Bro,
how they were able to come back at all with functionality of any point. Because there have been people who have been dead for 2 hours, have been dead for 7 minutes. There are organs within our body that can only survive for a couple minutes without the proper things that it needs to function. And once that runs out, that organ pretty much completely fails. So how can people come back after a certain amount of time of being dead if those who claim that it's not really, you know, what it is? What is your logical and reasonable explanation for all of these things that happen, for all of these experiences? It'd be one thing if only 1 or 2 people, you know, had this experience. Then there might be some more wiggle room for doubt. But we're talking hundreds of people through eons and eons of different eras all experiencing this. And you really have the audacity to say that it's the brain's last ditch effort after you die. Brain dead is dead. So what is it? You're dead or you're not dead. If there's brain activity, enough brain activity to send you images to your head to calm you down, as they say, then how are you dead? Clearly you're not dead. If you have if you have little brain activity, no matter how small, you're not dead. You may not function the same way everyone else does, but you're not dead. Dead means dead. So this logic that they have, science trumps religion, science trumps God, that's all bullshit, honestly. Simply for the fact that there's no evidence outside of there has to be a higher power. There's no evidence that would explain how a person could die, be dead for a certain amount of time, and come back and practically be like they never died in the first place. That's odd. I see that the same way. That's like telling a person with cancer they don't have cancer just because you can't feel what they're feeling, or you can't see the actual amount of pain they're in. So because you can't decipher something, because you can't logically understand that, that automatically must mean that it's not true for everyone, or that it's just not a truth in general. That makes no sense. Apply the same thing to religion, apply the same thing to faith, and you will realize just how stupid we have been. Honestly, though, I think that's going to be it for this stream. I appreciate all of you guys who are here watching this. Even if you're watching after the stream ends, please let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I do keep the live chat still is up afterwards. I also keep comments on, so you guys can comment and stuff. So, but yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about any of this whole conversation, please let me know. I would love to have more of you share your ideas and opinions. But honestly, this is just some of the ways that I think. But I love you guys. God bless. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time it is you happen to be watching this. And I will catch you guys in the next stream. Look out for the next video drop, I guess. Peace.